What's going on, everybody? Happy Tuesday. You are rocking out with Kings and Dreams. You see the title, you see the thumbnail. You see the title, you see the thumbnail. Let's get right into it.
You take the red pill, you stay in Wonderland, and I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes.
Damn, Perk did this?
I don't need no one to save me. I was born to be the greatest. All that time in that basement, all that time isn't wasted. Rapping getting faded. I just wanna tell my mom that I made it. Just wanna be the topic of the conversation. Used to rock the gold plated. Now I'm wearing gold chains like I'm famous.
What's going on? What's going on, everybody? Again, happy Tuesday. Thank you all for rocking out with your boy Kings and Dreams. Definitely appreciate you all being here. You see the title, you see the thumbnail. We got a great episode that we are going to be talking to you all tonight. And the episode is going to be, 7 things that ruin a man's travel experience. I think that it's very important that we talk about these things because, especially in the travel community, there are so many things that we need to watch out for and be aware of. And you would think that these things would come instinctively, but the truth of the matter is that they really don't. So we definitely have to have a conversation and talk to you all about that. And while I'm waiting for my guest, I want to give a couple of shout outs here. And also want to wait for everyone to pull up in the room. So I want to wait for y'all to pull up and say what's up. The E. Nicole drops a heart. Thank you so much. I appreciate you, sister, for being here. Thank you so much for rocking out with us. My man Pool Man 313. Shout out to Detroit, man. Your man from Detroit's about to be on here in about a minute, man. So Pool Man says, replay gang, dropping in just to say what up, though. What up, though? Hope all is well. Hope all is well with you, man. Shout out to my man Pool Man 313 for pulling up on the check-in. Charles Jones is in the building. Says, yo yourself. What's going on, Charles Jones? Hey, man. I appreciate it, man. Charles, if you could do me a favor, throughout the night, if you could just drop both of Dre's channels, the Mostly Money and also Love Crossing Borders, if you don't mind, if you get an opportunity to do so. I don't know, you may be popping in and out, but yeah, man, I'm really excited to talk about this topic, man, because it's really important, man, how us as men, especially melanated men, man, we we gotta make sure that we traveling properly, right? So what I did was I linked up with Dre and I said, hey, man, let's have a conversation about this, right? Let's talk about 7 things. And so I actually came up with a little bit more. So I'm actually going to start with the honorable mentions, right? So this is not a part of the top 7 that we did pick. Liked and shared out. Thank you so much, sister. I definitely appreciate you. So we're gonna get this thing started with the notable mentions, right? And so you would think that this is so simple, but guys, right, a lot of things that what we forget, especially us living in the United States, like other countries, it may not be as easy to get a washcloth or loofah or even or even like the favorite soap that you like. All right, so this is the first honorable mention because you want to make sure that you pack the things that what makes you smell good, what goes well with your skin. You want to make sure that you do pack those items. That's very important that you pack those things. I can tell you a funny story, right? One of my subscribers was reaching out to me, had traveled to Colombia and was having like the hardest time trying to find a washcloth, man. So something just as simple as that's important. So that's going to be the first honorable mention right there, right? Let's see what Charles says. Charles says, yeah, I'm like the burger joint out in Cali tonight, overgrind until 1 a.m., but I'll drop them when I can. In fact, okay, no worries, man. All good. So that's the first honorable mention. Okay, the man of the hour is in the building. What's going on, brother? What is going on,
you're the man of the hour, man. I like the honorable. I like the honorable mention, man. I really like that one.
Yes,
that was a good one.
Yeah. So, I didn't know if you got a chance to catch it, but
I did.
Yeah. So one of my subscribers, right? He was looking for a washcloth in Colombia and was having like the hardest time just trying to find a washcloth. So, I was just telling the audience, like, so something just as simple as a washcloth it can be very difficult to find, man. But before we get into that, man, I just want to say what's up to my brother Andrea, Love Crossing Borders. Thank you for checking in with me today. So we're gonna have a fun and intelligent conversation about this one, brother.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So
this is gonna be fun.
So really quick, do you have like any stories? Because I know you also do consultations where some people might have forgotten some items, whether it's like a smell good, favorite shirt, favorite lotion, whatever it is, where guys like, man, I can't find this for the life of me.
One of the things that I always try to tell guys, especially during consultations, and even now, do not forget your condoms. Don't forget.
All right,
your
so we
condoms.
jumping right into it. Let's go.
Yeah. I don't know if you had that one on the list, but
I mean, hey, you know what? I was trying to hit him with a softball, but hey,
no, don't forget your condoms, man.
Okay.
And the reason why I say that, sometimes we make the mistake of assuming that we understand where to go to. Okay, you met the female, and you don't know where to go to in the pharmacies. Because Colombian pharmacies are made up a little different sometimes than U.S. pharmacies, right? And you're walking around, 5-10 minutes. That 5-10 minutes, the female is getting antsy,
right?
She's
That's
like,
true.
You know what? It's easy for a woman in a split second to talk herself out of some good loving, and that's so true. By the time you make it back to the Airbnb or make it back to whatever spot y'all were going to be in, she's changed your mind, and she's like, I'm having a long night. I want to go. Don't forget your condoms, man. I don't care if it's a 12-pack. I don't care if it's a 3-pack, but just don't forget your condoms, because a lot of guys make that mistake. And I know some of you guys are like, you're raw dogs. You want to go raw. South America is not the continent where you want to experiment with going raw. It really is not.
No.
And so, definitely, that's one of the things I often try to tell guys about. Just one thing.
Yes, absolutely. No, I completely agree. You definitely don't want to experiment there because real fertile.
Yeah, seriously. They are real fertile in South America.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. So yeah, and that's actually a good thing that you mentioned that, because in the pharmacies in the States, you can just I think you could just walk down like whatever aisle and just pick them up. I think you have to pick them up like where the pharmacist is.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, no, absolutely. The next thing would be staying inside of your comfort zone, right? And so, one of the things that I want to say, a lot of guys, when they travel, tend to stay inside their comfort zone, especially like if you're used to eating a certain way, like definitely make sure that you're showing that country's respect by trying some of their food. Now, you may not like everything, but try some things, right? And so it's like, why would you want to go to a different country, but you still want to eat Pizza Hut and Burger King all the time, or McDonald's, right, or whatever it is? You know what I mean? Like, have some variety. And if it's something, if it's something that you just haven't tried before, try it. You get it. You get a new experience, and you can say, "Hey, you know what? I tried this food or what have you." So what say you? Because I'm talking about food, but you can.
Oh yeah. One of the biggest mistakes I see guys do when they come to South America, they go to American locations, whether they go to DR
Mhm.
or whether they go to even to Europe. They make a mistake of only gravitating to foods that they're familiar with. They'll go to the KFCs in Singapore. They'll go to the Kentucky Fried Chickens or the Subways here in Cali, Colombia. And then wonder why they still feel, even though food is a little healthier here, they still feel a little lethargic regarding how well they should feel. And then there's the other thing. When you're buying a certain types of food, as you well know, Kings, it's a little bit more expensive to buy American foods in foreign countries than it would be in the United States. KFC, because it's an American brand, they make you pay the piper for that KFC. Oh, you want some KFC? Okay, it's gonna be a little bit more extra than if you would have got the same chicken down the street.
That's true. That's true. Very, very true, man. So definitely add some variety. Add some variety, man. So take some risks, guys. Again, that's another honorable mention. We haven't gotten to the list yet. The next thing would be, so as I mentioned, kind of like people just kind of not really wanting to try things. So association, like you said, people will go to the Americanized territory, and I understand you go with what you're familiar with, but you don't want to familiarize yourself with the locals. If you want to get tapped into a certain area, or if you like a certain area, or if you're curious about a certain area, how are you going to learn about the area the most if you are not tapped in with the locals, right? And that's the thing, because if you're going to an Americanized area and you're socializing with all Americans, how are you able to know about this country, whether it be Brazil, different parts of Africa, Uganda, Kenya, Rwanda, wherever, right? Like, you're not going to be able to know about these specific areas unless you are actually socializing with the locals, as opposed to just only communicating with the Americans. Now, I'm not saying that you can't communicate with the Americans. I mean, of course, because they are, they'll understand like how you feel. You may have some nostalgia and things of that sort. They get that. But in order for you to really understand the culture of where you're at, you have to socialize with the local people.
Absolutely correct. One of the things that I give a perfect example, I was getting a physical exam, just making sure my cholesterol was fine, and the brother that was there was my doctor. And so what I did was I said, "Hey man, I like to get some information from you outside of your work environment." He's like, "Oh yeah, cool, whatever you need." Excellent in English and so forth. So I'm going to schedule an interview with him, as well as connect with some other professional Afro-Colombians down here, because a lot of times people like gravitates like, and I like to be around professional people. So I like to be around my people, but yet my people that are professional. And so that's who I gravitate to. But at the same time, as you were just saying, you have to be around the locals. The problem is you have to make sure that you pick and choose the right type of locals to be around.
That's true. That too.
Including the same thing, you have to make sure that if you're traveling, you don't want to, and you bump into somebody, you don't want to bump into the wrong brother. Just because he's from the States, that don't make everybody cool. Just because you bump into a dude in Medellin and you thinking that, oh man, another brother from the States. Well, you got to be careful what type of brothers you've been hanging around that's coming from the States. But when it comes to locals, there are some really good local people in every country that mean you well, that mean to introduce you to the country more than you even imagined. But you got to step out of that comfort zone. Even if you don't know the language. That's why I always say, if you don't know Spanish, go take some classes somewhere in regards to salsa classes, bachata, any type of dancing classes. You'll meet somebody and they help you come out of that bubble. Also, when it comes to learning Spanish, go to language exchange meetups.
Yes.
We always have the meetups in Medellin and Cali and Cartagena where they know Spanish and you know English, and they want to know as much English as you know Spanish, as you want to know Spanish. And so it's always those meetup groups. So don't feel uncomfortable with the fact that you don't know Spanish, because there are a lot of people that want to know the language that you know. And I'm going to repeat that before I let Jay speak. There are people in other countries that value learning your language just as much as you value learning their language. So go to these meetup groups. They're all over Facebook in every city. Actually, Medellin meetup group is 10. I looked it up the other day. It's like 10,000 people, 13,000 people just in Medellin meeting up together from different languages every week to showcase helping each other understand the language. So when guys say, well, I don't know Spanish, or that's no excuse. You can still slowly but surely learn Spanish.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. And another thing I just want to add to that, you mentioned the language exchange, right? You also have to understand, like, these, a lot of these people are proud of their country and they're proud of their history of their country. So they're eager to teach someone who's not from their country, right? And say, oh, I taught this guy from the United States this about the country because this guy doesn't know this, right? Like, you said Medellin, right? One of the things that I did when I first got there, I went on a walking tour, and and we went to different parts of Medellin, different estradas and things of that sort, and like just learning the history, you could tell that the tour guide, he was so excited to teach people about the history of Medellin. So, yes, as you mentioned, even if you don't even if you don't know the language, make an attempt. If they'll respect the attempt, say, hey, you know what? I don't understand this, but I'm trying to make an attempt because I'm very interested to learn your country. It shows a sign of respect. So don't let that overlook your head. It shows a sign of respect when you are interested in that person's country because they're proud, right? It's just like, if you're an engineer, a computer engineer, and someone is asking you, how to install RAM or things of that sort, right? Like, you're gonna be interested in showing this person how to do that. Or if you're someone in the finance sector, like let's take Los or some, someone's asking about crypto, right? He knows a lot about crypto and he's proud that he knows a lot. So you're gonna want to teach someone because they're interested in learning. So what I'm saying is that these people are proud of their country. So don't hesitate to say, hey, you know what, show me this, because I want to learn. But also what Dre said, make sure that you are putting yourself around the right people. Like, if this person looks a little sketchy, then like, okay, you know what, like, I'm going to go to somebody else.
Correct. Because at the end of the day, people are, like you just mentioned, people are always open to share their knowledge and their experience of their country. I think that's one of the misconceptions that a lot of people have about the rest of the world coming from America. Right. We think people around the world are like us. I'm going to repeat that again. We make the mistake of thinking that people think like we think in America. America is us four and no more. We put give me 50 feet. We put barriers up, we put walls up. What do you want? We always think somebody wants something and they want to use you. But in other countries, people aren't thinking like that about you. So we go to other countries with the assumption that nobody wants to help me. Why? Because nobody's a helper in the United States. Nobody wants to be friendly. Why? Because nobody's friendly in the United States. So we have to bring down those barriers when it comes to people willing to help you in these other countries. They really are. And it will amaze you how many doors open up when you're just willing to just like Jay just said, just take the time out and attempt. And all of a sudden, all the doors open up. There are women that want to be attracted to you guys, but some of you guys are so stiff when you come to their countries that they're like, you know what? The women are like, that's all right, because you don't even want to try. You don't want to try to dance. You want to try the food. You don't want to try Spanish. I give you a perfect example. If you're a guy that comes to South America, any part of Southeast Asia, and all you are looking for is hip hop clubs. Nothing wrong with hip hop clubs, but if that's the only place you go to, I promise you, you're putting yourself in a position that many of the women or even networks that you will make, you won't be able to make them because you're only putting yourself in an Americanized box. So we have to start realizing that we have to broaden our horizons if we're going to be going to these other countries.
Right. Yes, absolutely, man. And before we move on, you mentioned the thing about where in the United States people aren't as openly friendly, especially like in certain areas. I would say like in the South, it's definitely more friendlier. But like me from New York, like if I'm walking down the street in New York and like I smile at somebody, if I, like the woman's gonna either think I'm trying to talk to him or the guy's gonna think something funny is up. You know what I mean?
Right.
And but when I'm outside the United States, if I smile at someone, they smile back, and so it's like it's a greeting. It's basically saying like I'm saying hello to you. So I understand. So you definitely have to compartmentalize between the two when you're in the States and outside of the States. So I just wanted to say that last point there.
And also that Americanized, the brashness that we have towards each other it's kind of funny. The smile and the ability to be approachable and approaching people is expected in many countries. The ability to approach and the ability to be approachable is expected in many countries. But many countries are not expecting our brashness as Americans. We're very brash, hard to break through the shell, gotta peel the onion to get to know us type people. Many in the UK are like that. Much of Europe is like that. Canada is like that. But a lot of parts of the world aren't like that. They aren't out to get you. So we have to realize that our brashness, our ability to be loud in public spaces and all those things, it's not necessarily called for in other countries. I noticed this even with me and Andrea. If we have a disagreement, me being loud is not a part of the makeup. To whereas in the States, she's out talking, a woman is out talking me, I'm out talking her, and we're going back and forth bantering. Well, here in Colombia, I'm not seeing that too often unless it's going on behind private doors to where people are just raising their voice in the name of raising their voices. They may disagree, they may be angry, but they don't get as loud as we do. They're not as brash, even in the form of disagreements. And so that brashness that we have, that we were raised in the United States, it doesn't work well in many other countries.
Yeah, very interesting. Really quickly, so how do people look when like if there's a couple that's arguing and the voices start to get elevated, do people kind of see that like as it being like way too aggressive? Like, what are their thoughts like when they see that?
Really, I'm gonna tell the truth, bro, because you know how I am. You only see that in the hood,
right?
You don't see that in none of the major malls. You don't see that out here in our area, in the suburbs. You see drunk people in the hood, in the barrios. And don't get me wrong, there's some amazing, nice, sweetest people that you ever want to meet in some of the barrios. But at the same time, in some of the broke areas, just like in our country, let's be real. In the United States, some of the loudest people and some of the most disrespectful people are mainly either extra country folk from Kentucky and Tennessee, or brothers and sisters that's in the hood, or white folks that's raised in the hood. So
Right.
it's usually demographics that cause a person to be comfortable with being loud, extra, flamboyant, zoomorphic with their linguistics. But for the most part, when you get out of those realms of the hood in any country, you find that most people don't even carry themselves like that. If they have
Right.
disagreements, they take it home. I
Right.
have yet to see uh, a couple that were in our area in zone 4, and I mean in zone 5 and 6, just out there and just embarrassing themselves and being loud. It just doesn't happen. And even when
Right.
people from zone 1 and 3 come to these areas, they don't get loud. Why? Because that's not what you do out here, and you
Right.
draw negative attention to you. So even if a couple that's from another location is out here, they don't do it like that. But I've seen it plenty of times on video footage, or one time I saw it when we were in another zone, and a father was yelling at the daughter at the top of his lungs, and a guy was yelling at his girlfriend and being extra with it. But you like, in our area, it just doesn't happen. So I hate to say classism exists everywhere, but it actually does.
No, that's very true. That's very true. I mean, because you usually won't see that, because where I'm at, like I'm in the suburbs, right? But if I go in the inner city, you'll like seeing something like that. And I hate to say the word normalized, but it's more commonplace. You know what I mean? And so I know what you mean by, like, as far as the classism and things of that sort. So you definitely make a point, and I think that that's like universal. I think that's universal, no matter where you are in the world. All right, so let's get to this one last final notion before we actually get to the list. And so I haven't heard this too much, but I still wanted to mention it, especially like with the rules and laws. Sometimes they change. So when you guys are traveling, make sure that you guys are paying attention, especially like for visa status. Like I believe that in October, um, Brazil is changing up their visa status. So, guys, make sure that you guys are looking into that as far as with your travel plans and times and things of that sort. You always want to make sure, because, like, I know it'll break your heart if spend your money, buy a plane ticket, and you can't even get in the country, and you've already taken the time off of work, right? And we all know, like, most companies will only give, like, at least 14 days max. So let's say if you take you know 8 to 10 days, you got 8 to 10 days that you can't even get back. So you want to make sure that you're doing your research. Look at the visa process for whatever country that you're trying to travel to. That's extremely important. You just don't want to get stuck out there where you get into the country, you can't even get past immigration, and you have to fly right back to the States.
That's also true. A lot of I've been following that switch that Brazil is going to go back to, in regards to, it's not just your passport that can get you
Right.
in, but you need a
Yeah.
visa to get in Brazil, because they were like that before a few years back. So
Yes, they
it's not
were.
like, a lot of guys don't realize. So it's not like it hasn't happened before.
Yeah.
It'll switch, and so you're right. You're absolutely correct, King. One of the things that can ruin your vacation is not understanding the visa process of that particular country, assuming that all countries are the same, and you get there and you can't get in
Right. Yes.
after flying 9, 10, or 11 hours, depending on where you're coming from.
Right. Yep. Absolutely. Let's see. All right, and so now let's actually get to the list. But before we do, I just want to give a couple of more shout outs. I did see some comments here in the chat. I saw that one already. Yes, all make sure that you do subscribe to Andre and Andrea's Love Crossing Borders. Um, Unc is gonna drop some free game with drink in hand. Tap in. Yes, yes,
Oh
yes.
yeah,
Drink in hand every Friday.
every
Oh
Friday.
man, it's definitely a treat, man. If I don't catch it live, I catch the replay because man, I can't miss those. Sir Yeetus is in the building. Yeet, what's up? What's up? Um, stay in the know about what's going on in DC in regards to the economy, your portfolio, and most importantly, your retirement. Subscribe to Mostly Money TV. Yes, this is Andre's main channel, Mostly Money TV. Has 120K subscribers, post every day. Definitely some great information on financial retirement. So guys, if you want to know about your 401k, 403b IRAs, you want to check out this channel, man. Check out this channel. And just check it out because Andre is just very great at what he does. So check it out. Prince O is in the building, says what's good.
Prince O.
Salute. Charles Jones says, I don't know, B, the McDonald's and KFC. low key on point. But you're right. Try the local fare. You'll eat better and cheaper. Yes, absolutely. Yeah. See, and the thing is, we like a lot of people complaining about in the States is, man, I try to eat better, but everything is so expensive. So if you're out of the country and you get to eat better and it's less expensive, why not do that? Hold on. Sorry, Unc, but for me, hip hop is life. I'm definitely guilty of looking for underground hip hop. Yeah, well, hey, listen, me too. I mean, listen, I'm a dancehall head. I love dancehall, and no matter where I'm at, I'm looking for dancehall. But I also go to like where the locals are too. So you just want to have that variety, and I think that's what Dre is trying to say.
I give a perfect example. They have something here called Salsa Choca. You won't see it anywhere else in the world. It's its own music genre, and it is, if you could take salsa and hip hop and blend it, that's what black people have done here in Cali, Colombia. They've got their own dances to it. They've got their own across the country, their own entertainers, their own stars. Some of them have won Grammy Awards, several Grammy Awards. How can I word this? The mistake that I see Americans making is assuming that our form of hip hop is the only form of hip hop. If it's not Ludacris or whoever it is that's, Kendrick Lamar or Drake or whoever the latest,
right,
hip hop artists are, we assume that's not hip hop. Yeah. Well, if you're looking for hip hop, it's here in these other countries. It's just not your version of hip hop. If you allow these versions of hip hop to these other versions to kind of like become a part of your repertoire or put a feather in your cap, you start to realize, like, man, I like that Salsa Choca sound, or right, another hip hop sound, which is Afro beats. Yeah, a lot of dudes are just coming up on Afro beats, but there are a lot of people that have been into Afro beats for years. That's a form of hip hop. It's not our form of hip hop, but it is a form of hip hop. So when I hear guys say, I'm looking for a hip hop club, I'm like, yeah, I got one for you, but it's not our US form. And we have to respect that hip hop is an evolving genre, just like rock and roll, just like any form of music. It evolved around the world. And so it's not just what we realize or grew up with hip hop, but it is a version of hip hop in other countries. So embrace hip hop, but also be willing to also embrace hip hop, the version in other countries, and you may learn that you love Afro beats more than you love some of the music back home.
Yeah, no, that's very true. I mean, hip hop is so global, right? Because you go to different countries and like they'll have their own version. Like I know like drill music is like popular now or whatever with the younger people, but right, like You know, you'll hear some Columbia guys, and they'll be doing like like drill music, over there. So it's worldwide. So like I know we're used to the U.S. based hip hop, and of course the whole world loves the U.S. based hip hop, but you definitely want to diversify yourself abroad as well with that.
Like some of those beats that's coming out of UK, crazy beats.
Yeah, that's true.
Crazy flows.
Yes, absolutely. No, you're absolutely right about that. My man QB Passport flexing on the check-in says what's
In the
good.
building.
Yes, what's up,
About the
QB?
passport.
Definitely make sure you guys check out QB's channel. The Mikey story. Salute Kings and Dreams and Andre Love Crossing Borders. Salute the Mikey story. I appreciate you for pulling up. Black Scorpion says, "What up? What's up, Black
That's the
Scorpion?"
man right there.
Yo, Kings, this is my man Juan. Check out my man Juan, man. He's out in Medellin. He also does tattoos, and he'll definitely he'll definitely show you around Medellin, and he speaks English too, guys. So he's definitely a good guy to be around, man. Okay, one last thing before we get to the list here. Sorry again, Unc. But boom bap, Afro beats. Yes, I'm stubborn, but it is what it is. For an example, I'll bump bossa nova, samba, and pagode, but I can't fool with Brazilian punk. I feel you. Thanks, bro.
Yeah.
One love. Yeah.
That's a good point. Good point, Charles. Really good point. That there are certain sounds that you gravitate to.
That's
and then
true.
there are other sounds where you're like, that's just not my cup of tea.
Right. Absolutely, man. Absolutely. No, you're right about that. Like this, like I love the boom bap. You know what I mean? That's a New York sound, really. I mean, I'm not saying like no other place could use it, of course, but like when I first heard the boom bap, like a lot of the New York rappers were using that boom bap. You know what I mean? So that's something that I'm very used to. Whatever language it is, I hear the boom bap type of beat, I'm like, okay, I'm rocking with this.
There you go.
Yeah. All right. So now let's jump into the list here because I want to make sure that we get this out. All right. So number one. You guys should know this by now, but getting to the airport on time, whether you're arriving to the country or coming back into the States, you always want to make sure that you're getting there on time, especially coming back into the States, because I mean, typically depending on where you are, like in the Northeast, like they typically will move faster, but if you are, let's say, flying back from Dominican Republic or Colombia, they tend to move a little bit slower. They move on their own pace. So what does that mean? So if you are used to getting to the airport 2 hours before, you want to make sure that you get there 3 hours before or 3.5 hours before, just because they're just at a different pace, right? Not everyone has the hustle and bustle like a New York or a Boston or a DC, or you know what I mean. So you have to take that in the account. So you have to make sure that you are arriving on time. And let's say if you are getting caught up on other things that's distracting you from getting there on time, make sure that you handle your business a lot earlier so you are not missing your flight and not having to do a telethon to get back home.
Right. I remember I'm guilty of that one. I mean, when I first started traveling, I remember I was in one country and I thought my flight was to be leaving at 6 p.m. and they had left at 6 a.m. So you want to make sure that you're on top of your AM and your PM. I was there 3 hours early. It's just I was there 3 hours early for the wrong time. So
right.
Double check your itinerary and make sure that you have the correct AM or PM when it comes to your flights heading out as well. But it happens. You want to make sure that you're wise about it, and also realize, guys, one of the things that can mess up your vacation in regards to this is realize that a lot of countries, when they close those gates, when they say that they close the gates an hour before the flight, they're looking at their watches like tick, 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 tick. That's it. And you may get there 2 minutes later, and they'll tell you why they're still standing there. That's it. We're not taking anybody else. Because they like, if we do it for you, we got to do it for 50 more people.
Right.
And so I've seen that happen to a couple of guys, and it's a little frustrating, but we've got to, respect the fact that other countries are not like our country that could try to get you on the plane if you're only a few minutes late. But that's how it is. It's set up like that, and that could just ruin your vacation without a doubt. Missing your flights or being there for the wrong time.
Yes, that's true. And you know what? You said when you said that you had arrived there 3 hours early, but you thought it was 6 p.m., not 6 a.m. Another thing is, always make sure that you're checking the time zone of where you're flying. Where you're flying to. So this way, So let's say, like right now on the East Coast, it's 10 o'clock p.m. But I know in Kenya right now it's actually 5 a.m. So, or in Colombia right now it's 9 p.m. So
correct.
You want to make sure, and especially so the flight coming back, right? They're going by that country's time. So let's say if the flight is at 9 p.m. right, Colombia time, but it's not if it's 9 p.m. Colombia time, but I'm going off of the East Coast time, I'm actually there late because the East Coast time right now is 1 hour ahead. So with this time zone thing, man, we got to get it together in the States with that. But like you got to pick like this daylight savings time. It's so confusing. But what I am saying in the long term is that you always want to make sure that when you're flying there, you're going by where you're at from where you started from. When you're flying back, you're going from that country's time zone. So correct. Always want to make sure that you look at the time, and as Dre said, check if it's AM or PM, because you can get caught out there if you're not paying attention.
And then the next thing you know, you're wondering like, man, what was I thinking? You're disappointed, you're upset with yourself, and then you may have to be like the one guy in Dominican Republic. You might have to pay an extra fee to get on the next flight that's heading out, just because of you weren't on top of the time zones.
Right. Yeah, man. Shout out to my man E. This is one of the guys I actually been helping out behind the scenes. So he says that he's in Cali, and the black women are very beautiful and friendly, and he likes Cali better than Medellin. Okay, all right, cool, man. I appreciate that, man. I appreciate the super chat, man. It's all good, all good.
Oh yeah,
I see. Huh?
I said, oh yeah. I'm a Cali man, so.
Yeah, man. Hey, listen. I like Cali too, man. Shout out to the Art of Will that's in the building.
Shout out to Will.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Okay, so let me go with number 2. I like when my little sis Andrea says it. She says, "Don't be a papaya." With the
don't get papaya,
right? And but basically what she's basically what that means is don't put yourself out there to be taken advantage of, meaning don't be too flashy. So you have to know where you're at, right? And obviously you can dress nice and things of that sort, but don't be walking around with the Armani, the Hermes, the Louis, the Gucci, Now, I can say that, I'm guilty of that, but what I say is that I roll with locals, so I make sure like that I'm protected. Now, I'm
Right.
not saying that I'm not saying people should do that. What I am saying is that like you can look good but not look like a mark.
That is absolutely correct. One of the ways to ruin your vacation is to overdo it when it comes to your flash, because it's two things, two type of attractions that you're going to make. We're really three. One is the attraction that you want. You want the women to notice you. That's one form of attraction you're going to get. Second, right, you're going to get noticed, as you said. You're going to be looked upon as a mark. Thirdly, you're going to be seen as a person that's trying to outflash the locals who can't get what you got. If the only time they've seen Versace or they've seen a Hugo Boss suit is on a television show, and here I come show up to one of the clubs and I got a Hugo Boss suit on and everybody else is just wearing t-shirts and a polo shirt. Who am I being fly for? You see what I'm saying? So now I'm making myself look like, he must think he's better than us because it's too good for just wearing a polo shirt, a nice pair of sneakers, and a pair of jeans. He's got to come in here with this expensive Hugo Boss suit on. So you just don't want the people to even see you with the, just the average person to see you in the wrong mindset, including the person that's seeing you as a mark. Or you don't want, and when King says mark, correct me if I'm wrong, it's not just somebody that's out to rob you as far as like, stick them up, but also females that you don't want to attract come your way. Yes. Because they like, he looked like he could buy 15 drinks for us girls. Let's go over there. Let's go pop bottles with him.
Right. Yes.
Like, right. So you're not attracting the type of people that you really want to be with. You're attracting beautiful party girls, but did you come down here for that? If you did, cool. But if you didn't, you may want to tone down on some of the super. Bring the colognes, attract them with the smell goods.
Right. Yeah. No. Absolutely. So I was saying both things essentially. What you just said as far as the mark, right? So, guys, here's the thing, right? As men, and especially masculine men also have egos, and that's global. So the thing is like, hey, you know what? This guy's from the United States, and also you're foreign. So, right, like, okay, like when in high school the new guy comes in, everyone wants to know who the new guy is. Where is he from? Things of that sort, right? All of the chicks is checking him out. Right, this chick that you was putting in work and trying to talk to her, she curious about that guy, right? So what I'm saying is that when we go into these countries and we go into a local place, right? These these women gonna be like, oh snap, who's this guy? And this guy, he's popping all the bottles or whatever, or he's wearing all the fancy stuff. Now the guy's like, oh okay, like this dude's trying to take my woman now. You know what I mean? Like he's already foreign, like I'm kind of not feeling that, but now he's trying to rub my face in it. So it's like, okay, you know what? I'm gonna get on the moto, hit my boy on the moto, and we gonna get this, right? So that's the guy's way of thinking. Now the woman's way of thinking is like, oh, I know he got some money and I got some bills to pay and I need some of that. So let me put the finesse on him or whatever, right? And that's how that goes. That's how that goes, man.
And guys get off the plane and they swear that they could not be the victim, or they think that they, my charisma is so good, or my street smarts in the States are so good, so that'll never happen to me. Women will never come up to me and use me at a club. And then you see that they the first ones popping bottles for chicks. Right. But in the States, they were swept down. They'll never let a woman on the other side of the velvet rope using them. But when you come to I sit back and I watch them, and I'm like, dude, the same thing that you said that you would never let happen in the States is the same thing that you let happen in all these other countries. So it's almost like do not ruin your vacation by allowing yourself, like you said, to just be flamboyant, by just overdoing it, overdressing, overspending, over tipping. That's another thing. We understand America is one, like I mentioned before, Jay. America is one of the few countries in the world where the currency is one color. We're one of the few countries.
Right.
Our money, no matter what color it is, $1, $20, is all green.
It's all green. Yep.
Most
just the presidents are different. That's all.
Right. And so the only exposure that we've ever had in the United States to money with different color is Monopoly. Many of us grew up playing Monopoly. The money was of different colors. And then subconsciously we come to these other countries that have colorful money, just like Monopoly. And subconsciously we treat it like it's just cheap Monopoly money, not realizing it's just as much of a currency as it is our greenbacks in the United States. And so over tipping, a lot of times, most restaurants in Colombia, I say at least here, the gratuity is already in the bill, unless like a small mom and pop spot, but the gratuity is right there in the bill in most restaurants and in most bars. So when you guys get to over tipping, like what for? Who are you showboating for?
Right.
You showboating. You can't be showboating for your fellow American dudes because we don't care. You showboating for the chick that's with you. You showboating for the bartender or the waitress. Who are you showboating for?
Right.
Don't over tip. That's going to ruin your vacation because you'll find yourself slowly, methodically spending money that you didn't even have to spend, and you're going back to the money exchange to get more cash, or the ATM to get more cash, when you didn't have to, be flamboyant with the money. Just do like locals do. The gratuity is written into the bill, so go ahead, pay the bill, say thank you, and leave out of the establishment.
Yes. Completely agree with that. Don't do that, because you end up putting yourself in a precarious position later, not realizing like, oh man, you know what? Like, I really didn't even have to do that. And as you mentioned, the gratuity is in the check. And a lot of places are starting to become that way now, because what they want to, one of the reasons why they do that is because they want to make sure that they are able to give their staff tips, because what ends up happening is that in the States, and I'm assuming that it's probably like that also outside of the States, but more or less in the States, the reason why is because certain waitresses and waiters will end up leaving the position because there's not enough tips to go around, because customers may not want to tip for one reason or another. So this is why businesses have put that on the bill, so you don't have to worry about, oh, well, if I'm gonna give this person XYZ. Now, if you should decide to do that, then that's fine. But what Dre is saying is that just pay the bill. Your tip is already in there, so your waiter or waitress will already get that money. So you're perfectly fine. You don't need to do the overflex. You're good.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Sorry. Go ahead, Dre.
No, I was saying absolutely everything that you just mentioned are exactly how it works. So don't ruin your vacation. Don't ruin your trip by over tipping. I understand some of you guys have the money. I could do it because I got the money. This few extra dollars of Colombian pesos ain't gonna hurt me. That's not about it's not a. Sometimes, guys, I got a news flash for you. Sometimes some of the things that you do on this planet, it ain't just about you. The way that you behave as an American impacts the next group of Americans that come off the plane after you. That's why pay for play is the price that it is in DR, Colombia, in Thailand, because everybody want to think about self. So you over tip because you can afford it. Now the girl is charging everybody your overpriced tip. Right. And no matter where you go, and you wonder like, when did it change? All it took was one dude to overtip or to overpay when it comes to anything, and it has a ripple effect when it comes to ruin the vacation of the next man or woman. So realize, guys, when I do certain things here in Colombia, even though I live here, I don't do certain things, or I do certain things based off of how the locals behave, because I don't want locals to treat the next American in a different way. Well, Andre tipped well at this bar, so when the next American comes, we expect him to tip like, no, that's not going to happen. No one will ever say that I ruined the price of anything here in Colombia, because I really try to be aware of the next person that's coming behind me as an American. No matter, I don't care if I'm just riding a taxi. I don't care if I'm riding an Airbnb or if I'm at a grocery store or whatever it may be. I try not to overtip.
Yes, and I'm glad that you said that. You always want to look out for your fellow man. Another thing is, and I'll dig a little bit deeper here, because, and I think I've said this. I don't know if you and I were on. I might have said this when you and I were on, but like the thing is that the wealthy don't outbid themselves. They don't outbid themselves. What do I mean by that? Like, okay, you take the NBA owners, NHL, MLB, right? Like these sports teams, franchise that make a lot of money, right? And so you'll notice the player, when it comes time to pay, it'll be some haggling and things of that sort, right? We all know the players deserve to get paid a certain amount, but the owners are not going to outbid themselves. We're not saying to be shrewd, but the thing is that, like, pay what is supposed to be paid and keep it moving. And us as men, especially the melanated men, we always have to put on this flex. Oh, I got it. Yeah, I got 20,000 in the bank. It's lit. Yo, listen, man. Doesn't matter whether you have it. Why don't you keep it?
This what gets me, Kings. Since I've been down here, I noticed this. All you do is flex, come down here with your fly LeBrons on, or your Yeezys. You come down here with the fly shirts on and fly jeans, and you got a pocket full of money. Your pockets got the mumps, or your bank accounts got the mumps. But you never realize that poor white boy with a backpack who's been traveling across the world with flip-flops and shorts on, he's smashing the chicks just as fast as you are. He ain't had deodorant on in 3 weeks. All he does is shower. And he's smashing the same chicks. I'm down here, I'm seeing it. The same ones that y'all overpaying. I love, one of my favorite analogies is when not Kings of Dreams, but Russ with Tailor Made Dreams says, y'all do realize that the same chicks that y'all overpaying, them the same ones I could knock off on a 10 in a house with a tin roof. That y'all taking them to, but y'all taking them to villas. And he's absolutely correct. Stop. If you don't want to ruin your vacation, stop following what your boys are doing by overpaying, and you don't overpay. Let them clowns do it. But you don't have to do it just because you're in a group of dudes that's overpaying. Don't do that, man. Don't get involved in that. Because I'm telling you, when you sit back, you think about there's white boys in flip-flops that could smash the same chick that you paying 400,000, 500,000 pesos to, but the white boy is smashing that same chick for 50,000 to 60,000 to 100,000 pesos. Well, he can get it because he's white. Either way, you the fool, because the locals are getting that same price. The only ones that's getting overpriced is a few white boys, but most of you brothers are paying too much. Locals will tell you where to go and how much you should pay, but y'all think y'all better than the locals, so y'all never ask because you don't network, like Kings was saying earlier, getting to know people, because they'll let you know, dudes, we don't pay that much. We pay blah, 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 blah. I rarely, Kings, if ever, hear any dude come on YouTube and talk about how much the locals told him they pay. I have not seen one YouTuber come on a live stream and say, I interviewed local guys that do pay for play, and they say they pay boom, 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 boom. Not one YouTuber. But you all can tell us what the overpricing is when it comes to us foreigners. But you can't tell what the locals are paying, because once you find out what the locals are paying, now you can haggle and negotiate. But if you just assume by what your favorite YouTuber told you, you're going to automatically go and get got with the foreign price, ruin your vacation by paying foreign prices when the locals are like, man, we only pay a fraction for that. I didn't have her for that price. I would have had her 5 times.
Right. Yep. Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Yes. You know, that would be interesting to see a video like especially like the YouTubers that like to have fun time. I would like to actually see one of the videos where like you guys are actually speaking with the locals about that. That would be interesting to see that. That would be interesting.
There you go. You got a topic right there. I mean, you can interview from Zoom to Thailand and have him talk to some locals, to Chocolate Man, to have, you know, some guys in Medellin talk to locals and find out what are the local prices for pay for play.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yep. That's true. That's true. Man, Andre, thank you for the $20 US, so that's 40,000 Colombian pesos. Yeah, man, thank you. But please share this stream. We are an hour in, and we have just gotten through to our second of 7. So make sure that you do share this live stream, like the live stream, hit the notification bell, and pass that plate around. The Art of Will says you'll ruin your vacation if you hook up with Passport 304s who are old as the staff Moses used to part the Red Sea with. Well, this dude is crazy.
But he's right. Leave American women in America. Leave them alone, man.
Yep, that is true. That is true. The Flyboy Way is in the building. Definitely.
Shout out to Flyboy.
Yes, THEFLYBOY. Don't ask why. Just oh my God, don't ask why. Just check out the channel for sure, man. Definitely salute to my brother right there. Another thing about international flights, you need to be there on time because in some cases the international airport only has one flight back to the U.S. per day. You know what? That's an excellent point. That is an excellent point because if you guys end up missing that flight, you're and if you have to go back to work the next day or something like that, you're pretty much effed, man. So you want to make sure that you are there extra early. So if they say that the flight is leaving at 3 p.m., be there at 11:30 a.m. Be there at 11:30 a.m. Just be right there. You know what? And that's that. And what Dre was saying about them closing the gate. Yeah, once they close the gate, they will not open the gate. They will not open the gate because because people from that country, they see you open that gate, they're gonna be like, no, you can't let him go. And that'll just incite a lot of ruckus. So you don't want that.
And that's what happened to me. I ended up having to call in to work and let them know I was flying in the next day because I missed my flight. Absolutely.
Yep.
And it did. This the irony of it. Back to your topic, not to interrupt your super chats.
Oh no. Go ahead, man.
It did ruin the vacation, even though it happened at the end of the vacation.
Yeah.
You see, sometimes we think that it's happening in the middle or at the beginning. It can happen all the way at the end of your vacation to where you forgot all about the good time you just had for a week because now you got to focus on the fact like, man, I just missed my flight. I can't believe it.
Right. Yep. And especially like if you have a job where like if you happen to take like an unscheduled day, things end up falling apart. Oh, your boss gonna be upset. you just don't want those type of problems, man. You just really don't. So yeah, no, you're absolutely right. Because you're thinking like, man, now I gotta now I gotta make sure that I appease my boss now, because my boss ain't gonna ask me how the vacation was. My boss mad now. So yep. Artewell says, if you look at that Ren character from Ren and Stimpy who's living in South Africa, you will ruin your vacation. Oh, I know what he's talking about. Yeah, I know.
I mean, I know who Ren and Stimpy is, but I don't know who the. Oh, I know what you're talking about. I know the guy. Of course, I know the guy you're talking about.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that guy. Black Nubian, thank you so much for the Canadian $2. I definitely appreciate you, brother.
Shout out to Black Nubian.
Canada in the building.
Oh yeah.
Let's see here. All right. My man Juan says, it means don't make it easy for them. Yeah, no. I know what papaya means, bro. Come on now. My man Tevin King is in the building. Says salute to everyone in the chat. Let's see what Juan says. And another thing, it can ruin your vacation. Don't pretend to be someone that you're not, because most people want to make an impression for themselves as a rich person. They spend more than what they have. Very, very true. Very, very true. Absolutely, man. This is my man Juan, down in Colombia, man. So I met him. Yep. Jermon is in the building. Says, "What's up, Kings and Dreams?" Andre in chat room. All right. Where's Men Lux Magazine? What's good, YouTube fan? So
what's good? Shout out.
Yes. Yep. Talking about them timeshare rentals.
Mm-hmm. That's what they call the pay-for-play girls, the timeshare rentals.
Yep. Great travel advice. Oh yeah, man. We just got to number 2. We got 5 more. Let's see. Actually, no. I think I put 6 more, because I put so I'm actually giving you guys we're giving you guys an extra one. So for sure. Let's see here. Ophelia 67. Good evening. Good evening,
Ophelia.
I hope that you are doing well.
Oh yeah.
Let's see. Airlines are not allowed to reopen the flight once the doors are closed. Every airline, I think, that's under FAA mandate, once they are closed, you are screwed. Okay. All right. So I was unaware that, like, that all of them that they could not be reopened, but that makes sense now.
Yeah.
All right. So we started talking about the money, bad budgeting. Budgeting. Now that's number 3. When you guys, and I actually said this. Shout out to Big Boss Real Talk. I said this on his channel, not this past Saturday, but the Saturday before. And I said, hey guys, if you want to ensure that you're having fun, make sure that you're bringing extra funds, because you don't want to put yourself in that precarious position to where you're like, man, listen, I ain't got it, I need help or whatever. Like, dude, you don't want to do that, So if you make sure that you have an idea of all of your itineraries of what you want to do, whether during the day, during the evening, after hours. You guys all know what I'm saying. You want to make sure that you have an idea of your itineraries for each part of the day, and have a budget. Have a budget, because if you over budget, and it kind of goes into what Dre was saying earlier about over tipping. Right? Next thing you know, you're like, oh, I got this, I got that. Yeah, on day 1 and day 2, you're flush full of cash, but now on day 8, day 9, you're like, oh shit. You know what I mean? Things start to get real.
Yeah,
get real for them. You know what I mean? So yeah, because on day 1, oh yeah, it's lit, it's a party. I'm popping all type of bottles, and I'm giving I'm giving the doorman a tip, all of that. Day 1, day 2. Day 8, day 9, you start looking like,
where my bank account set up.
you know how like when you go out to eat with somebody and then they start looking around and you like, what you looking around for? It's only me and you here, bro.
That's true.
They got the struggle look on their face.
You can tell.
Cost 100 mil peso. Oh. Or that taxi ride to the airport. How much he want?
Plus you got to pay a toll. How much is the toll?
Right.
10,000 pesos. That's just too much.
Right, everything start being too much now.
Right.
A9.
And that goes back to our American, I'll say westernized, because that includes Canada as well as parts of Europe. Our westernized mindset of keeping up with the Joneses, because a lot of times we'll do it subconsciously to keep up with our favorite YouTubers or keep up with our favorite other content creators, TikTokers that are traveling, or we'll do it trying to keep up with the guys in our group. I'm telling you, your group of dudes will break your budget because it's not their budget. I'll say that again. Your boys will break through your budget in 2 days because it is not their budget. Right. And so they can pop bottles because they wisely put a certain amount of money to the side for popping bottles for the next 8 days. You got enough money to pop bottles for maybe 2. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Maybe 3 of the 8 days. Right. There's nothing shameful in telling your boys, like, listen, I ain't going out tonight. You know, I'm like, I got other plans tonight. Or I'm gonna go do something. I'm gonna just chill tonight. Because tomorrow I'm going to. You might want to hit up some of the free stuff to do, like some of the museums and some of the walking tours and things. There's nothing wrong with that. Your boys might try to shame you into, come on, man, we going on party. Nah, bro, I didn't come here to just party the whole time. You may want to take advantage of a lot of free stuff to enjoy in many of these countries that will amaze you. But overspending is not the way to go. And you're right, because if you are not wise with your budget, you're going to be doing like a lot of guys do, calling me and Kings and Dreams, trying to borrow a couple $100 until you get back to the house.
Absolutely, man. So like that was actually going to be my bonus one. So we'll move that to number 4, the friends, because you want to be mindful of who you are traveling with, right? Because your friends have a budget. Let's say you guys are there for 10, 15 days. They have a budget of partying for at least 8 to 10 days, right? And you have a budget, let's say, of 3 max, right? Utilize the different things that you can do, free things or stuff that is in your budget, to where it's like, oh, you know what? Like, I don't have to go out and pop bottles every night. Okay, Friday and Saturday, I'm gonna pop a bottle. But Sunday, they have this thing where they're playing music outside or whatever, and they're serving, drinks, and it's very minimal on the cost. Great, do that. Be able to move around. Be able to move around, right? Because the thing is that what I always say is a great trip is coming back with more money than you thought that you thought that you were actually going to spend. Because when you have that money, and let's say, right, and you're like, man, you know what? I'm not going to Brazil for a while, or I'm not going to Eastern Europe, or I'm not going to West Africa, East Africa, South Africa for a while. But you know what? You still got that money there, right? And so when you do decide to go back, you have that. You have that, as opposed to when you get back and you like, man, damn, how am I gonna put gas in my car? Man, how am I gonna get to work? You know what I'm saying? You limping when you coming back. You don't want to do that. You don't want to do that. You want to make sure that you have more than enough to go out there with, and then also save some money, coming back. And we're not saying that you can't have fun with your boys and turn up and do all that. We're not saying that, but everything is within moderation, right? And if you're not taking care of the things that you're supposed to be taking care of in moderation, and you're reaching out to your people back home, hey, bro, you know what I mean? Yo, man, listen, man, I need 300. Yeah, you'll get the 300 and stuff, but it's like, bro, like you still want to be responsible enough to where you are not like just coming home just broke.
Absolutely. And the crazy part is, I love how you said now you're back home struggling. Everything that had, it just takes it even further to ruining your vacation. Mm-hmm. You made it, you got on the plane, yes. You had a good time, yes. You got back on the plane, yes, but your vacation has been ruined because now you owe your boy an extra $300 back home.
Right.
Or now you got to rob Peter to pay Paul because you ain't got money because you didn't budget everything out. Be wise with your money. And I know many of us are older guys that listen to this broadcast. And so some of us have been established and we're doing well. But there are still a few people out there that need to hear this, because this may be their first or second or maybe even fifth trip to some of these locations. Mm-hmm. And they're still in the habit of overspending. It's right. Not called for. I could see, you know what Kings, I could see if there was a benefit to overspending to try to impress your boys. I could see if there was some type of benefit to it, but there's not. There's literally, after 5 trips to whatever country you're going to, let's say you've been to Brazil 5 times, I have yet to meet the guy that says, man, I was so glad my boys convinced me to overspend. I've never heard it happen.
Right.
I never heard a dude go back home and say, man, I'm glad I still owe my boy $300 who I had to call from Brazil for some extra money. There's no benefit to it. So trying to press these dudes, and here we go, also trying to press these women. Bruh, when you know that the same intimacy, same sex is being done by local men at a fraction of the price, a fraction. These dudes don't make any money compared to what you make in Colombia or in Brazil compared to your American paycheck. And if these dudes can run through these women and have a good time and party, because the clubs aren't full of, and the VIP sections aren't full of American and local men and foreign men, they're full of locals as well. So if these local men can pull these sexy women and still live a life, what is it about you also to help keep from ruining your, and don't forget your thought, Kings.
Nope.
One of the things that Andrea and I always do, we always have an emergency. We always have a certain amount of credit cards for emergencies. You never know what happens. Right. I may lose my wallet, and I may lose it and may have my bank cards in it, but I have tucked away extra credit cards so I don't have to worry about what might take place if anything happens. And this credit card may have an extra $3,000, $4,000 or $2,000, $3,000 on that credit line to where I don't have to worry about my trip being interrupted. I just call my bank because I lost my wallet, and I just let them know, they lock my bank account up. I'll talk to you guys when I get back to that country, get back home. But always have at least one extra credit card. I don't see why guys don't do, especially at our age in life, to where you should have at least one solid credit card for whatever it may be, a business credit card or a personal credit card, but you should have at least one, or even some extra monies put to the side, at least an extra $200, $300, $400, $500, $1,000. Like Andrea and I always have an extra $1,000 for emergencies, no matter when we go. If our budget for Europe for that month is $3,000, that's going to be our spending money, hanging out, blah, blah, blah. That's $3,000, eating, so forth and so forth. But you better believe we got an extra $1,000 to $2,000 put to the side. Yeah. That's not to be touched. That's not to be bothered. That's not to be looked up on. That money is actually, we hope to come back, and that money is still sitting there. But if ever we needed it, and I give you a perfect example, Kings. with the credit cards. We got the DR. Andrea and I didn't know. We brought, I don't know what made us bring Colombian pesos instead of USD. we get to DR. We're going to be there for a month. DR says, "Oh, we don't exchange Colombian pesos." We look like, what? Yeah, so we go to the next money exchange. They're like, "No, we don't do that here in DR." So we had to use our credit cards and then go ahead and put the money back on our, take care of the credit cards when we got back. But we had them. What if we didn't have those credit cards for emergencies?
Right.
We'd have been back on a plane.
Right.
So always have monies put to the side for emergencies. I don't see why you guys want to party up your emergency money. It's not put to the side for, oh, I done ran out of my party money, but I got this extra 400 over here. I can keep the party going. No, that extra 400 is for emergencies.
Right.
Go ahead, Jay.
Yeah, no. What I was gonna say is the most simplistic thing ever, right? The one of the things that, like, guys, I know that you want to impress a woman. The most impressive thing that you can do to a woman abroad is actually just being there, because there's so little of us that are actually able to get over there. So the fact that we are actually able to get over there is impressive enough. But see, the thing is that we think that we have to do extra, and we don't have to. Just getting there is actually over half of what's needed, at least a good 70-80%. And then you have your cologne, you dress nice, you don't have to put on and nothing necessarily too fancy, but dress like you have some sense and you give a damn about yourself, and smell, and smell proper, and be pleasant. And that's your 100% right there. So 75% of it is just getting your ass on the plane and landing, and you're right there. A lot of you guys make this thing, I don't want to say a lot, but a good portion of you guys make this so difficult and so challenging to where you guys put yourselves in precarious positions, especially people that look like me and Dre, and then we have to see y'all on TikTok or YouTube or on social media, and we just hold our head like this because we so embarrassed.
True.
As I mentioned, getting your ass over there is 75% of the problem being solved itself.
I like how you say embarrassed, because these be the dudes that get caught up be the same ones for months hollering passport bros unite, SYSBM, save yourself black man, all over their social media, all over their Facebook. And as soon as they do something, they don't realize that they are an embarrassment to the true passport bro, blue book gentleman movement. They really are. You looking like, oh man, women gonna have a field day with this. Women gonna tear this, tear this apart. Passport bro caught, blah 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 blah. Passport bro, I told y'all was over there doing this, that, and this. Right. And so it's just, and it's uncalled for. It's just, I love how you just said, like, the flight, it's the fact that you can afford to fly to other countries. That's the flex within itself. Then you're smelling good, you're well groomed, that you're already exotic because you speak another language, the language that they wish they could speak. You got all the telltale signs of I'm smashing somebody before I leave, and you don't even realize it. You're overspending, you're overflexing, and then now you're worried. Now it's like 3 days left on your trip, and you got enough money to last 2 days. So now you can't eat with your boys. You got to eat because you're trying to keep up with your boys. Now you're trying to find the mom and pop restaurants that you can get like a $4 breakfast, because that's all you can afford right now, while your boys are still going to some of the most expensive locations in that particular city. So don't try to keep up with the Joneses. Don't try to keep up with your boys, because that will ruin your vacation. If your boys have they like to buy all the bottles and bring it back to the Airbnb, or if they like to bring all the marijuana back to the Airbnb, and you at a point where you can't chip in this go around, don't trip, bruh. I ain't got it like that. I can't chip in that go around. I can give you 5 days of drinking, or you guys that's in the marijuana, I can give you 4 days of smoking, but I can't chip in. Don't overspend trying to impress some dudes.
Yes,
dudes be doing Kings. Dudes be doing that, trying to impress dudes as much as they try to impress the ladies.
Yeah, man. You know, and the thing is, you know, like, right, you know, with Flyboy being, you know, my brother, one of my best friends growing up, and when we travel, like, we put a plan together, and I mean, we don't do it anymore because we know, like, we know what we're gonna do now. We have an idea of what we're gonna do, even if we haven't been to that country. But it's like, hey, you know what? I'm gonna take care of this. You go take care of that, right? And so that's how it should be. It doesn't have to be a flex. You know, there's certain things, like, you say, hey, you know what? Like, let's have a party at the Airbnb or something like that, right? You know, hey, Jay, you get the food. Hey, John, you get the drinks. Hey, such and such, you get the weed or whatever. Cool. But everybody is chipping in, so this way, like, everybody still has money left over. Have to have a plan in place. It's just like with money, right? Like, and I've told the story about how I was able to rebuild my credit, and I'll get a little more in depth here. So how I was able to rebuild my credit, I had a 520 credit score, and so what I did was that I actually got one of those credit cards that have like $500 limit or something like that. And so what I started doing is that, like, I started getting stuff that I knew that I could pay early, right? Like, I would get something to eat once a week, maybe, like, you know, $20 max, and then put gas in it. So I put gas in my car. So basically, you know, it was $50, but I was paying it so much ahead of time. Within a year, my credit score had jumped from 520 to like 730 or whatever it was. And then 6 to 8 months after that, then it jumped to the 800s. Then after that, it jumped to 820. So what I'm saying is that you have to have a plan in place. Plan with your boys, man. Because if those are your boys and you guys trust each other, that's your wolf pack, have a plan in place.
True.
Say, hey, listen, man, you know, I'm going on this trip, but, you know, I know you guys are trying to go crazy. I could go crazy for like 2 days, but I gotta be moderate. Okay, yo, it's all good, bro. It's all good. Cool. Right? But if you try to say, like, oh man, you know what? Man, let me use my rainy day fund. Ain't nothing gonna happen. Next thing you know, bad weather, especially in the winter, snowstorm in the Midwest, snowstorm in the East Coast, you can't get back home, you know, flight delay for days, and you working hourly, you got no more sick days left. Now you fucked. You get what I'm saying?
I give you a perfect example, Kings, and not to cut you off.
When
Andrea and I were in Cuba,
my pause was for you to chime in. So yeah, go ahead.
Okay, cool. When Andrea and I were in Cuba, as you well know, this is just this past year.
Yeah,
the hurricane.
Yep.
We're expecting to leave one day. They shut when they shut the airport down in Cuba. I'm talking about the locks on the doors. Everybody out like they shutting down a library. Locks on the doors. And so Andrea and I were thinking to ourselves, when we're looking at 200, 300, 400, 500 people leaving up out of the airport, if not 1,000, and we're thinking to ourselves, with these people with children, not everybody's got money. We know that some people just got enough money to get back home. What do they do during a hurricane? Andrea and I, all we had to do was just call our Airbnb. She said, come on through. We got you. We already had our emergency fund put to the side for emergency, didn't get spent. And we were right back to our Airbnb in a nicer, more suburban area and rode out the hurricane compared to people that you can just see it on their faces. Like, where am I going to go? What am I going to do? You never know, even by way of weather, what could take place. I give you another example, the pandemic. A lot of dudes never expected that flights are going to be shut down and you're locked inside of a country for 2-3 years.
Yeah.
You don't realize that you're going to be locked in a country for at least a year.
Right. Yeah.
Circumstances can take place. So when I tell you about DR, when I mention about Cuba, when I mention about the pandemic, don't assume emergencies can't take place. So don't try to flex for your friends, knowing that you put this money to this, let's say it's $100 or $200 that you put to the side for emergencies. If emergency doesn't happen, that money goes home with you. I'm going to say that again. If it's an extra $5,000 that you put to the side for emergencies and no emergency happens, that $5,000 should be going home with you. It should not be spent because, well, this is the last day, I guess ain't nothing gonna happen. Remember what I mentioned, our last day, a hurricane hit. And fortunately, we had the emergency fund put to the side to where we could be there an extra 3, 4, 5 days without a problem. Not everybody probably in that airport, we believe, thought like that.
Right. No, that's very true. Very, very true. I mean, and the thing is, and I'll tell you another story. I was in the States, and so there was this ice storm. It was this ice storm. I want to say it was around 2000. I want to say it was around 2014, 2015. My son was around 1, maybe just about 2. And so, like everything runs on electricity, like my water, everything. So if the electricity goes out, I can't do anything. So, needless to say, this happened, and I had to go to a hotel. All the hotels, they were either booked or they were double or even tripling the prices because they knew people, had nowhere to go. It was people had blackouts and things of that sort, right? But I was able to make it happen. Was there, it was like 3 days or something like that. Good. But you never know, and especially no matter what coast you're in, things can happen. Like earlier this month with I don't know if you heard, but there were some fires in Canada.
Right.
Yeah. And there was, it hit all parts of the tri-state, North Jersey, New York City, Southern Connecticut. Right. And so you wouldn't think that the fires will be rolling from Canada all the way to the United States, but you just never know how these things are going to happen. Right. I mean, you're down south in either Florida or New Orleans or that area. You got hurricane. On the Northeast in the winter, and the Midwest, you got snowstorms. And then in the mountain region, you also have snowstorms. In the West Coast, you got earthquakes. So what I'm saying is that, not to be too long-winded on this, but I want to really drive this point home, guys, because no matter what season you're in, just about anything can actually happen. So you gotta be prepared for a rainy day, or else it's gonna rain on you, man.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And we just share some stories that we know that we experience. So can you imagine all the other stories that are out there? So remember, your emergency fund is only for emergencies. Do not put that in your party budget. Do not put that in your hangout budget. For the most part, Andrea and I curtail our spending budget around our emergency budget. And I'll tell you what I mean by that. If we know that we're going to Europe for 2 months and we want to have at least $1,000 to $2,000 for emergency, we're not going to take from that emergency fund to build the budget.
Right.
Like, okay, we only got 3,000 put to the side for the budget. We need another extra 1,000. Well, let's just take the 1,000 out of the emergency budget. So now we got 4,000 to spend in Europe, and we just have $1,000 for emergency. No, if our goal is 2,000 for emergency, leave it at 2,000, and you just have 3,000 to spend. We've already got the Airbnbs paid for. You already got the flights taken care of, and in Europe, the tickets to get around on the train is as inexpensive as getting around in a subway in Chicago or in New York or Cleveland.
Right,
So when we're there, we know how inexpensive getting from country to country actually is. You get from one country to another country for less than $30-$40. And so knowing that, we're wise with not dipping into the emergency fund. We don't leave that money there. Emergency fund is just for that emergency. And so, guys, our point is, you do not want trying to impress your boys or impress a woman to ruin a perfectly good vacation that you worked so hard to get. You've been saving and focusing on and talking to your coworkers about this vacation for 6 months, and you don't want to ruin it.
Right.
Just trying to impress them guys.
Right. Absolutely, man. All right, so let me just get to the super chat. My man Uncle Luke 1980s, thank you so much for the check-in, man. I know you said that you were pulling up tonight, and I appreciate you sharing the live stream with your people, man. I saw what you did on Instagram, so thank you. So he says, keep educating brothers out here in the travel community. Much love, fellas. Content like this is needed to help guys navigate through overseas dating marketplace. Keep up the great work, Kings. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate it, man. Thank you so much, man, for real. Great convo here, he says. Very informative. Charles Jones says, I had a homegirl from my old Portuguese language course who went to Brazil with her partner who was going to be out there for a short time. Then 2020 happened, end up staying down there for months. Yeah, that's the same thing that happened with Los, right?
Yeah, the same thing happened with Los.
Yeah, she ended up paying for her apartment. For her partner's family rent for a few months. Cheap, but still, yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, you just never know, man, and you just never know. Hold on, I missed a couple of these comments. My bad, guys. Hold on, let me get to some of these. Aura Drip TV, thank you so much for the check-in. I'm out there in August. I'm not sure where, but maybe
let us know where.
Yeah, let us know where you're gonna be out. Where you gonna be out? Hanging with Hameen. What up, KND? That wouldn't ruin the trip, but people need to make sure what kind of outlets the country has. Yeah, true. Agreed.
Oh, that's a good one. That's a good. I give a perfect example that he brought that up. Andrea and I actually purchased these on Amazon.
Hold on. Let me make you big.
Yeah. These right here are the universal outlets. So these outlets only cost, only a couple dollars, but no matter where we go in the world, we can plug these into the outlets and be able to use our local, plugs. You want to have little things like this. And just in case of an emergency, we got two. So if something happens with one, we got another one.
Yeah,
we got it all set up. Another thing that I do, because we do content. So what I'm doing right now, I'm actually creating content not just for now, but I'm actually posting videos for all of September and all of October. So all the videos that guys will see on all the channels, except for the live streams, will be already pre-recorded. Parts of Cuba trips that you guys haven't seen, parts of our DR trip that we haven't dropped, some of our vacations that we've taken in areas of Colombia that you guys didn't even know we went to. Like we just got back today from the pineapple region. We often talk about the coffee region, but there's a beautiful pineapple region here in Colombia as well. So we're going to be dropping that footage. So it'll already be there. And so it'll go live each day. It's those little things that you want to do to prepare yourself for emergencies, because just in case something happens, I don't have to worry about, oh man, I wish I had my laptop something happened, or something happened to my camera. No, for all the channels, we already have a video already set up for every single day that we're gone. So we're at peace with that. So when we do live streams, you guys will be able to, we'll enjoy live streams together, but at least we know we've already set up and handle emergencies. But in regards to what the brother stated, that was a great statement in regards to having the universal plugs, and they're so inexpensive. You can get them on Amazon.
Yep. Another thing I want to add. So hold on, let me make myself big. So this is a Wi-Fi extender. You want to make sure that you have this too, especially if you're working abroad. I don't know if you guys can see the label on it. My light may be too bright, but this is a Wi-Fi extender. And so you want to make sure that you do have that. And that's also inexpensive as well, but it certainly is needed, especially if you're doing some work abroad, or if you are a content creator like Dre and I. Right, and so certain places, like we mentioned with Cuba, the internet can kind of be a bit spotty there. So this extender will actually add more range and more strength to your Wi-Fi. So let's say if you're on 3G, this can push you up to 5. So it's about, I think I paid about like 50 US for it, but you want to invest in these things. So this way, if you need Wi-Fi, right, especially right now, everything is internet based. So if you need to check your email, or you need to communicate with your job, or me, like I have a son that, I have to communicate with his mom, you know what I mean? So I can't just go and not know how my son is doing. You know what I mean? So you just want to make sure that you have these things. Mm-hmm. So it's so funny, Dre, when you pull out these gadgets, and I'm like, hold on, I got one too, man.
Right.
Yeah, but yes, the universal plug and the Wi-Fi, I would say those are two things that you should get. If you don't have them now, I would say, if you get paid this week, put some money to the side and get both of those.
I'm gonna. You keep talking. I'm gonna put myself on. Turn my camera off. I'm gonna go grab something real quick.
Yeah, no worries. So I gotta read some more. Some more chats here anyway before we get to, and we got to get to number 5, by the way. All right, let's see. I think I might have jumped ahead here. I mean, I jumped back. Okay. Okay, here we go. If you're looking to join the room, be sure to like this and subscribe to our guest channel, Love Crossing Borders. Yes, definitely make sure that you do subscribe to Dre's Love Crossing Borders, and also Mostly Money TV. Great channels. Get those budgets on point. Drive for Uber and DoorDash if you have to. Absolutely. No shame in gaining. That's what I say. No shame in gaining. No shame in gaining. So there it is. Low travel IQ, Marquise Hill. Yep, absolutely. Create an emergency fund in case you get got. Look into a prepaid card in case you get caught up. Leave your real ish back in your room. Yes, absolutely. I'm glad that you mentioned that because there are some guys that like they'll actually be going like out and about with their passport. Now let me tell you guys, this is what I do, and I'm not saying you have to do this, but I tell guys this when in my consultations as well. The first thing I do is I have my driver bring me to my apartment in Medellin. If I'm going to Medellin, right? I have my apartment there, and I have 3 safes. So I put my stuff like my passport, my credit card in my safe, and I just bring enough cash and my driver's license with me, so it shows I'm a U.S. citizen, and then also enough cash with me, like if I'm going to get something for my apartment or whatever the case is. But that's the first place I go before anywhere. Before I say, I want to get a bottle, before I say I want to get a sandwich, before I say anything, that's where I'm going first. I'm going first to my apartment, putting my passport, my important documents that I need to get back to the United States safely in my safe. Then I'll go out. And also another thing, let me not let this fly over your heads. I bring enough cash to where if I'm going out somewhere, like but if I'm like hanging out, I'll bring a little extra, but I always keep the majority of the cash in my safe and my passport. So I know, guys, you want to hit the ground running and say, hey, you know what? Listen, I just landed wherever, and I want to, let's say some of your bros are there. I want to meet with the bros and stuff. Listen, put your stuff down in your room, your suitcase, all of that stuff, and put your passport, lock your passport up, put it somewhere safe, and any extra money that you may have, put that away. Then you go out and then take care of what you got to take care of. And also bring money for what you are doing. Don't bring too much. As I mentioned earlier, you don't want to be papaya.
I know guys that actually, and I've seen this a few times, I've had to tell guys this. Some of you guys bring the, like the pack, like the I don't know.
Oh yeah.
I don't want to call them man purses, but I'm not really into that, but I know what you're talking about. The Kevin Samuels around the front where you got the pouch. Yeah. I was gonna say pouch, right? And then I like fanny pack.
Kevin, but that's one thing. Right? I'm like, nah, I can't get with that, bro.
Right. But
I love you, Kevin, but nah, that's not my thing.
I'm the same way, right? But what a lot of you guys do, I'll see you go to the money exchange, because I'll often take you guys to the money exchange. You'll come out, have your money, and then all of a sudden I'll see at least 3,000-4,000 in cash. And I'm like, dog, first of all, nobody's supposed to be able to see you with that much cash on you in South America. It's uncalled for. Mm-hmm. You guys go to restaurants with too much cash. Well, I don't trust the Airbnb. Well, you got to do something, bro, because you cannot walk around many parts of the world. And I'm not saying that it's dangerous, but we're saying is be cautious. Don't give papaya, because even if you don't get robbed, your fatty pack could come up missing. Hey, let me put it like this. I know plenty of dudes that got drunk and passed out and everything gone. Just ain't nobody drugged you. Ain't nobody gave you no extra weed. It's just that you drunk too much at the bar and you passed out. And the next thing you know, somebody came up to you and got you just because you drank too much. Right. So guys, when Kings say you don't need to carry that much cash around, just carry enough for whatever that event is. A perfect example. A lot of you guys coming down here to Cali, Colombia in August for the Afro-Colombian Festival.
Yep.
The festival, you know, you're going to be eating, and most of it, you're going to probably buy a little bit of aguardiente and enjoy the concert and the music and the atmosphere like everybody else. For most part, as far as your food, you might spend 50 to 100,000 pesos. And then that also include whatever bottle of aguardiente or whatever soda, water that you may want to get. The concerts are free. The fashion show is free. The whole event is free. So for you to be walking around with $1.5 million Colombian pesos, unless you might want to buy, let's say you want to buy T-shirts or a couple of the African artifacts, that may be another extra 100,000. So you might want to bring for the Afro-Colombian Festival each day, maybe 200,000 pesos. Why are you walking around with $1 million pesos and you going to an event that's literally all of it is free except for your food, your drink, and maybe whatever T-shirt you might want to buy?
Yeah. So for those who may not know the conversion, Dre essentially just said bring maybe 50 to 55 US dollars for 2 days.
Yeah, that's all you need for the event, because it's absolutely free. Now, you know, you're gonna be going to other spots for your breakfast. Breakfast here in Cali, Colombia is like $5, $10. And me and Andrea always going out for breakfast and eating good. Get our bill, $7. Not $7 a piece, $7 for 2 people. After eating a big hearty breakfast. So you dudes be walking around with that much cash on them. I won't lie, you make me nervous to be walking with you.
Yes.
A lot of times I tell you guys, let's go back to the truck, you know, because you guys will be riding with me. Let's go back to the truck. Put a lot of that money in your suitcase or wherever place in your suitcase that you feel safe until I get you to the Airbnb. Bruh, you do not need to be walking around with that type of cash on you in any country, really. But you really don't want to do it when it's unnecessary.
Right. You know. Interestingly enough, I don't even like walking around with that type of cash in the States, man. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, yeah. I don't even like doing that there. You know what I mean? So me, I don't really carry cash like that anyway. So I'm usually with my credit card or debit card or something like that. You know, and I have like some cash, but it's just that I get uncomfortable with that. You know, so I don't think that's a good idea for anyone to do that in any country. Regardless whether you know it's the #1 safest country in the world. Man, listen, $3,000 can change someone's mind in 3,000 different ways. So let that marinate for y'all.
Correct. Correct.
Let's get to all right, so we jumped around here. You mentioned party it too hard. Let's get to that one.
Let's go.
You know, there's a video that I want to play for you guys. And it's about these homeless guys from the United States. They are in Pattaya, Thailand, and they party too hard, and they could not afford to actually get another visa because their visa time had run out. So now they are stuck in Thailand. That's crazy, right? That is crazy. Let me get this video right. Let me pause the music. Give me a minute, guys. Yeah, when I seen this video, I couldn't believe it myself. I was like, wait, homeless in Thailand? I could not believe it, man.
It will amaze you how many homeless Americans live in Colombia.
Wow.
Oh yeah, bro. Oh yeah.
I would not have. I would not have thought of that. You know.
Oh yeah, man.
Hold
You got
on.
people down here that ran out of money and got nobody back home to give them a dime to get back home.
Yeah, that's basically essentially that's what happened to you know, that's what happened to this, you know, to this guy. Where is that video? Hang on a minute, guys.
And then this is the crazy part. The U.S. Embassy will at least loan you the money to get back home. But do realize a lot of guys, they ain't got nothing to go back to because they've been away from the States for so long. I'll tell you what I mean. They went past their 6 month stay. In other words, you got your 90 days, then you file for an extension, and you get another 6 months. These dudes been in Colombia for 3-4 years. They've lost their job in the States. And now they've run out of money. That because Jamar was wondering, well, how's that possible? You could come down here, decide to live here, but not do it the right way, but just stay. And these people just stay 3-4 years, just stay. Nothing wrong with that, because a lot of times when you go to leave, you just got to pay your fee. You can go back home. But realize, if you've been gone out the United States for 3 or 4 years, 2 or 3 years, most dudes ain't got no job to go back to after 2 or 3 years. You can't go back to a job if you've been gone 6 months away from that job.
6 days, some
right.
place.
And so a lot of dudes go back. They know if they go back, they done lost their apartment. They've lost their job. They can't afford to keep that car, so the car probably got repoed if it's not about to get repoed.
Yeah.
They have very little to no family. A lot of us come from families that ain't got much. Can we be real?
Yes.
You ain't got a family member. I know I ain't got no family member where I can get a Tawi from to get back home from Thailand.
Nope.
A lot of us ain't got people to get money from. We're one of the few in our family that actually made it a little something. Let's be real, guys.
Yep, that's true.
So now you can't reach back home to your mama, because you know your mom just a regular mom from around the way. She ain't got it like that. You can't reach out to your uncles because, hey boy, you put yourself in that situation. You know how uncles talk. You get yourself out. You're a grown man. You ain't got your partners. You come from the hood. Your partners ain't got no 2,000 to look out for you like that. Maybe a couple of hundred until payday, but they ain't got no 2,000 to help you get back to the house.
Nope.
So now you stranded in Colombia. You got no partners to help you get $500. Well, you with the wrong crowd. It's too late to judge the person on that. It's already too late. You can't judge them and say, well, my friends would be able to. I got you on that. Or my mother would be able to.
Services and
that's cool.
Yep.
But yeah, just like this right here, we got the same thing here in Colombia.
Wow. All right. Yeah, man. Let me I did not know that. But let me know if you all can see my screen. Can you see my screen?
Oh yeah.
Okay. All right.
Including providing educational services and healthcare needs. It reported earlier in September that many homeless Westerners separated from their Thai wives and were kicked out of their own homes. Since their property was bought in their Thai wives' names, they cannot legally fight to stay. In other cases, homeless foreigners suffer from mental illnesses or from drug or alcohol abuse, said the foundation. Shelter volunteers from Ban Mit Maitri of Pattaya, located in the popular beach town known for its sex industry, walked the streets on Tuesday looking for anyone needing assistance.
I need to go home for health. I know that. I need to go home for health. But I like it here because I've got many friends here now, now. Many friends. I'm not sure what I want anymore.
Quinn has been living on the streets of Pattaya for over 2 years. The fee for a foreigner overstaying their visa in Thailand is $16 a day with a maximum penalty of $630. Shelter volunteers say many cannot afford to pay. The law states that shelters cannot assist homeless people living in Thailand illegally unless it is an emergency. Under those conditions, they can be housed for 15 days. Most of the homeless foreigners overstay their visa, so they are here illegally. And since they're illegal, and if we help them, that means we're breaking the law too. But for humanitarian reasons, we take care of them as needed.
Man, all right, and then I have a second video. This one's a little bit shorter, but you know, just so you guys can see, like this thing is real. This thing is real.
A brother living in New York City says his wife threw him out of home and he has no plans to return.
It's a lot less stress here, you know, and I'm more comfortable here than I am back home. I don't have to worry about gunshots and all this crazy stuff like this, you know, and I'm just comfortable here.
43-year-old Toynes Yalta de Jong from the Netherlands, who also sleeps on the streets, has a similar story. De Jong says he cannot go back to his native Holland because his Thai wife and children are in Thailand.
That's it. I mean, you know, guys, you don't want to. Man, you don't want to end up in a situation where you are homeless in another country where you can't go back home. Now, these guys are saying that it's safer than the United States as far as with being homeless, but you never want to put yourself in a position to be homeless in the first place. It's an extremely sad situation, man, to see these men and they can't even afford to get home. Going out too much, partying too much, you know, drinking too much, you know,
trusting too much. Notice that each one of the men were talking about how they're Thai wives because the house that the guys paid for.
Yep.
But the woman was slick enough to put it in her name. You know, Andrea and I talk about that down here, I don't care how married we are. We have these discussions. I don't care how married we are. We are not buying any property. I'm not about to bust my butt to get any form of property that does not have my name on it. I'm reading the deed and everything else. I don't care what language they put it in. I'm intellectual enough to be able to either hire a translator or make sure that I can read it for myself in regards to translations. But I refuse to have a piece of property that's in my wife's name. There's not and that's why when you guys hear us talk about that with Love Crossing Borders, Andrea and I aren't afraid to tackle the fact that marriage has a business side.
Mm-hmm.
It's not all about, oh, I'm in love with a foreign woman. Oh, I'm in love with a foreign man. Look at us on YouTube. No, there is a business side. We have no problem with saying, let's get a drug test, a paternity test for our children to make sure our children could be able to get passports and certain things. Also, when it comes to situations like property or ownership, we make sure that is not just one person. That is not going to happen.
Yep.
That is not going to happen.
So from what I understand, as far as with Thailand, the property has to be in the name of a Thai person. Now, I agree with everything that you just said because, like, I'm married. I want my name on this thing. I want my name on this thing. Doesn't matter how much I love you. Doesn't matter how long we've been together. As you mentioned, this is also a business, right? And with these guys being too trusting and thinking, hey, you know what? Like, I'm in paradise. I'm in paradise. I'm in Pattaya, and who knows that if with Pattaya, the reputation that Pattaya has, who knows if these women aren't just reform party girls? We don't know that situation. So what I'm saying is that when the fun stops, it stops being fun. Because the fun stops, and it stops being fun. Understand what I'm saying, guys. The money stops. It's no longer fun for her, and it's not going to be fun for you. So if you know that you are in a place like Thailand to where things have to be under any property has to be under a Thai person's name, you want to make sure that you don't have it under your wife's name, because look at what can happen to you. She has your children and you're on the street. You're not a Thai citizen. You're an American, or you're somewhere from Western Europe and you can't get back. Guys, when we say these things, whether it's partying too hard or simping, being too trusting, being taken advantage of, and how you have to be on your square and you have to understand your budget and being financially literate and things, all of these things that we say tie into this story. We're not just talking just to talk. You see two examples, one man from Europe, one man from the United States. They can't get the fuck back home. If you guys don't start to listen, oh, it can't be me, until one day you look in the mirror and you say, oh shit, it is me.
Yep. And most of those guys in the situations in many of these countries, when they put the money in the woman's name or the property in the woman's name, these guys have worked their whole lives and built that house from scratch in Thailand, or scraped and saved every dime. They retired and they thought they were going to retire with a good woman in Thailand and have their piece of property and live the last days in peace. These guys never assumed that if I take my last $300,000, buy a piece of property in Thailand, and marry this woman, that she can't just walk away with the property. We're married. She can't kick me out. But in Thailand, it looks that way, that she could kick you out even if you are married. Thailand is not the only country that's set up like that. So you guys have to be aware of what some of these rules are and get out of that mindset that it can't happen to you. I'm so tired of men not looking at our relocation as a business side too, or even our traveling. I'm so tired of very educated, very successful, very sincere, good men from the West coming to these countries such as Colombia, such as Brazil, such as areas of Southeast Asia, and letting women with 4th and 5th grade educations use you as if they all came from Harvard.
Right.
I'm so tired of seeing men some of the women that I see are gorgeous, but they don't even have educations anywhere on the level of what you have. And you come to these other countries and you act like the dumbest person that ever walked the planet when it comes to your finances. This is a business. Well, I'm only traveling for a couple of days, Dre. There is a business to traveling. And until you realize there's a severity in life that emergencies happen, real men, always know to prepare ourselves for them. You're going to always be you're either going to be a current victim, or I promise you, you will be a future victim because you did not prepare yourself. And we're not just talking about for women, because we always talked about the weather. Weather can victimize you just as bad as a woman can. Global impact, such as the pandemic did, that can impact you just like easy as your boys can impact your finances. So don't just think we're talking about what a woman can get you. A pandemic can get you too. So guys, you got to start taking yourself seriously. Because if your partners don't have to, they got their money. They don't have to. They don't owe you nothing. I'm gonna say that again. Some of you dudes got your lifelong partner. You went to college with. Y'all played football in college together. He don't owe you nothing. None of your partners that you got on that plane with owes you a thing. The only person that owes you is you.
Yep. Absolutely. Absolutely. I completely agree with that. You know, we need to, guys, we need to stop, you know, coming into this mindset thinking that it won't happen to me, you know, because everyone, you know, people think that, hey, you know what, it won't happen to me until it happens to you. And you know, which kind of goes into we're at number 7. You know, being too trusting. You know, you can't trust. Listen, you can trust, but what you have to make sure that you trust yourself the most. And if you don't trust, and if you trust someone more than you trust yourself, then you have a problem. You have a serious problem right there. Guys, you have to make sure that you trust yourself. I'm sure that these guys in Thailand did not think that this would happen. You know, I found me a beautiful wife. You know, she's gonna be submissive, cooks, cleans, you know, gives me all the good loving, you know, has my children. You know, I'm running a little short on cash. I'm gonna try to see if I can figure something out. You know what I mean? She comes from nothing. Maybe she'll be fine with that. You know, the money starts running out. No more honey. No money, no honey, man.
No money, no honey. No money, no honey. They put it all into the property that they purchased for the female.
Yep.
Under her name.
Right. Exactly. And you know what? You know, interestingly enough, I talked about how I improved my credit score earlier, right? Oh, she got a great credit score now. I'm sure she do. She got a great credit score. Probably got a nice car under her name. You know, got a 4th, 5th grade education, something like that. You know, maybe let's give it 8th grade. But either way, she not more educated than you, but she was still able to outsmart you.
Absolutely.
Because
go ahead, Kings. I'm sorry.
No, I was just gonna say she was able to outsmart you because, guys, you didn't bet on yourself, and then you could go ahead. Sorry about that.
Yeah, that leads off into what I was about to say, is that these guys, I just can't get how you can actually, even if you're married, I'll say that again. Even if you're married, I'm married. There is no way in the world I'm about to let Andrea sit back and be the only name on a piece of property. That is not about to happen. My wife, I'm telling you guys that live. You guys know how much I love my wife, but there's a business side to this thing as well. There is no way in hell I'm going to sit back, bust my butt, stack this money, do what needs to be done, get this property, and her name is the only name on the list. Hell no. What'll happen is that money will be put in an escrow, put to the side. We won't be buying property until I get, what does it take me to get citizenship? Okay, cool. I'll bust my butt, wait a couple more years, I'm talking about if it were me, in all sincerity. I will, if they told me in Colombia, you cannot buy any property unless which I know is not true, because we always have Americans buying property down here. But if they told me you cannot put your name on that lease unless you're a citizen, gotcha. I will either buy my own property, like I see all these brothers and sisters doing down here, or B, I will wait a couple years until I got my citizenship, which I'm eligible for next year, get my citizenship, and then we buy this property. But there is no way in here, I don't care how fancy, how new, how much of a deal, I don't care if they were selling it for $1. There is no way in hell I'm about to sit up there and bust my butt and just let Andrea sign her name on the lease. I mean, on the deed, and I'm just sitting up there just looking stupid. I'm just sitting up there just like, ooh, just because I got a copy of a key, that doesn't mean that I'm a part of the property. And these dudes going to Thailand doing this over and over and over again, and coming to these other countries such as Colombia and doing the exact same thing, and ended up out on the streets eating from trash cans. I don't get it. And for all you guys that make the mistake of saying it can't happen to you, I think with the mindset, and I live here, I think with the mindset of it can happen to me if I'm not on point. My name's on the lease here. This is my spot. Andre Spence. Andrea is number 2 in this. My spot. So even if I want to act a fool and say, yeah, you got to go home to your mama, I got that authority. Now, you guys know me. I love my wife. I love my relationship. So I'm not going that route. But my name is on this lease all these years that we've been here. So there is a business, and Andrea understands that she's a businesswoman. She the one that negotiated the contract for me to get this apartment.
Right.
But you guys, man, you gotta realize, man, I don't care how beautiful she is, how feminine, how supportive, how much she draws you in. Never forget, you are a Westerner. You were raised to understand there's a business side to everything. And I cannot stand when Westerners forget that we are business people. We were raised in a country that's a corporation. And then as soon as we leave and get on a plane, we act like we the dumbest people, don't know nothing about understanding that there's a business side to everything. I don't care if you're in Thailand and she making grits for you. I don't care if you're in Brazil and she sucking your toes and teaching you samba. I don't care if you're in Sweden or Switzerland and she's making the best cheesecake that you ever had. I don't care what country you're in. You are an American. You are a Canadian. You are a Westerner. You were raised to understand that there's a business side to everything. Everything, every single freaking thing. There's a business side. And until you come to the reality of that, you're going to keep on failing because you think as a woman would think. Let her think about the emotions and the feelings and the love. Oh, my God, I can't believe. Let her do that. With your love in a relationship, take it from me by experience. My love for my wife is based off of my ability to always see the business side of this relationship. That's my job. It's not her job. It's my job to be on point with that. And some of you dudes are so soft, man. It kills me because I'm sitting back and I'm watching good men crumble. Good ex-military, like I always say, Kings, these military men were trained since their 20s all the way to your 30s and 40s to know when some BS is about to come around the corner. All that training goes out the window for a Colombiana. All that training goes out the window for a woman in Honduras. Everything that you were trained to save your life, all you ex-military brothers, you put that on a back burner for a woman. All you truck drivers, you are detailed to know when things about to occur 4 steps ahead. You can look in your rearview mirror, those 3 cars about to do that car is about to do that, and the car in front of me and the 3 trucks in front of me about to do this. You see things that most people can't even see, all you truck drivers. And you come to Colombia and you come to Brazil and you go to Southeast Asia, you become the person that can't see nothing because you put blinders on because you think, I want to be like Andrea and Andrea, love crossing borders. Be like you. Be like you. Stop trying to be like other couples that you see us or other couples on Facebook or other single guys that have 2 or 3 girls on Facebook or Instagram or TikTok. And I'm going to be like you. You have the ability to notice things, truck drivers. All you guys that are in medical field, you were trained to notice details, the small things that most of us don't understand about our bodies. I can cough, and you can tell me that cough is this one, that one, or this one. But then you come to Colombia, and you don't notice the detailed subtleness of a woman leaning in, giving you a kiss, and in that 4 seconds, she's dropped 4 packets of whatever it is into your drink. But you were raised in a medical field. That's what you went to school for, and they taught you detail. And you come to these other countries, and you are the dumbest, idiotic person that I sit back and I see you guys throw away millions upon millions of dollars into the laps of these women in other countries, which is uncalled for. We got to stop doing this. You were raised in a corporation known as the United States. In other words, you were raised to understand that there's a business side to everything. Even your vacation, even your 8-day, 10-day, or 5-day vacation has a business side to it. Stop playing stupid and be who you are. You're an American, and treat yourself as such.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Absolutely, man. Before we get to the last one, Dre was spitting, man. But before we get to the last one, gonna read some more of these comments here. My man Juan came back and says, that's what I'm saying. Don't pretend to be someone that you're not. If you're flying on a low budget, don't overspend your money to impress girls nor your friends. Let's see here. Definitely make sure that you hit that like button. This is a sneak peek of drinking hand session. Yes, this is a prequel. Yes, this is a prequel right here. This is a prequel to drinking hand. So we just got water in hand. Today's Tuesday. You know what I mean? But yeah. Oh man, you know what? 4th of July weekend. Yes, I definitely will be having drinking hand. So Charles says you should be looking for $4 breakfast spots on day one. Yes, agreed. Don't let your friends use sign language on you and cause you to go broke. Shit's not sweet abroad once your funds run out. Absolutely. Things are not good when your funds run out. And also with the sign language, shame, insults, guilt, and the need to be right. It's not just with just romantically. Guys, you know, your friends could do it too. Like, oh man, why you acting like a punk or whatever, man? Come on, yo, let's ball out. Let's go. Nah, man, I'm on a budget, bro. Man, let's go, man. You good, man. Don't worry about it, bro. You're gonna be all right. Nah, man, I'm trying to save some money or whatever. Man, let's go, bro. Man, see what I'm saying? Like, yo, don't worry about that. Do what you do. As what Dre said, don't be like me or whoever, be like you. Allocate at least $300 in case your passport gets lost or stolen. Oh yeah, I agree with that one. Okay, yeah, Uncle Luke, great show. Oh yeah, you told me about the homegirl here. So he's going to Cartagena.
Oh,
yeah,
that's what's up. Nice.
Yeah, Cartagena's gonna be dope, man. So enjoy that one. Keep a copy of your passport on your phone or paper in your wallet. Yes, yeah. Like have like a picture of your passport or something. But as I mentioned, put your passport in your safe immediately. Man, this freaking fly just hit me, man. But anyway, keep a passport.
Fly.
Keep a picture of your passport in your safe. I said keep a picture. Keep your passport in your safe and have a picture of it on your phone. Let's see. A Black Nubian says, I don't walk with cash here in Canada. Yeah, man. I mean, I don't like walking around with cash, anywhere. With 10 pesos, you'll have a good meal. Uber driver will be like 20K, 50K for souvenirs, and 85K for aguardiente or rum or beers or something like that. So, 120, 105. So basically like 150. So yeah, about a little under 200K.
Yeah.
Whoa. Jamie.
It's kind of funny that Juan would say that, because that's basically like I keep that when you guys come to town. I'll be like, okay, we're gonna go out to get something to eat. I'll have that amount. I don't need the amount for Uber because usually I'm the one that's driving. If I'm driving, a lot of times I'll I'm just doing bottled water or sodas or something. I might do 2 beers, but that's at the most. Now, let's say I'm in walking distance, or I'm just taking an Uber to meet up with you guys. He's right. I'll take about $85K, $100K for drinking and having a good time. And in most places that you get off into, some of the most expensive places like Club Living and some of these other expensive clubs, is only 10,000 to maybe 20,000 pesos to get some of the best night spots here in Colombia. So you're not overspending. So he's right. I'll probably keep 200,000 pesos when you guys come to town. But other than that, if you guys aren't in town, usually I keep maybe 30,000 pesos on me. I really don't keep that much money on me because I live here, so I know where the restaurants I go to, or I'm going to eat at home. But my point is that just to be carrying around wads of money, I mean, you guys be having knots of money, and I'm like, man, y'all crazy.
Right.
And then when you pull it out just to pay for something simple, like you pull out unzip your little baggy thing, and you pull out a knot of money to get to, like, if let's say the beer is like 10,000, and your 10,000 pesos is in the middle of your knot. So you guys will pull out the whole knot just to get to, in the whole crowd, we're all looking at you like, what is this? What is this dude doing with this? What are you doing?
Right. Yep.
And so you shuffling through, and all they're looking at this, and if I haven't seen at least 8 times of guys coming here to Cali, and then what's sticking out is like maybe $400 of US dollars inside, sticking out of the pouch, because when you reached in to grab it, you poured your Colombian money out, but you slid out some of your American money. So American money is coming out your pouch that you can't see, and I'm looking at you like, oh snap, yeah, bro,
Right.
you need to duck off in there real quick. And then you got this big old wad because you're trying to get to that 10,000 pesos, and then you put that wad. Ain't nobody thinking about they drinks no more. All they thinking about is, why is this fool here endangering everybody in the name of trying to pay for 2 cervezas?
Right.
Just bring absolutely correct. 200,000 on you each day is excellent, and that's like $50 a day.
Yes. Agreed. Yeah. So 200,000 pesos is good, but as I mentioned, I mean, listen, be like yourself. But like for me, first thing I do, put my passport up, put the rest of my money up, and I'm bringing enough money for me to go out with, because like, listen, like as much as I love Medellin and I'm extremely comfortable in Medellin. Listen, I'm from Brooklyn. I'm extremely comfortable in Brooklyn, but that don't mean something can't happen in Brooklyn, and that don't mean something can't happen in Medellin. Juan is Juan is my boy. He lives in Medellin. You never know. Like Juan was telling me this story. He was on his way to my apartment. And the guys on the moto ended up getting a foreigner. You just never know, man. You just never know. Let's see here. Yes, shout out to my man Jamie Woods in the building. Shout out to you, man. I saw that you just cracked 1,000 subscribers, so
congratulations.
Sure, check out his channel. Yes, sir. Oh, he asked, well, how is that even possible? Oh, yeah. Oh, from the video, right? From the Thailand video he was asking about?
Yeah.
Talk about homeless North American people. I don't used to record, but I don't remember. But I helped a Canadian girl get back to her country because she partied too hard and got stuck for 2 years because of the language. Jeez, stuck for 2 years? Yikes! That's the truth. Shaking my head. Yep. Dan, this is heartbreaking. It is. Priority, folks. It is, man. J Rello keep messing around. He gonna be stuck like that in the DR. Listen, man. Listen, I mean, the situation with those guys, man, like it hurt a lot more because those guys have kids. But yeah, J Rello, man, if he keep messing around, dude, like Man, I've heard he's done this 3 times too, man. It's not a joke. It is not a joke, man. Ayo, the homies here. Lucifer was in paradise too. Yes.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. The real CP show. That is a good analogy. I wish more males would get out of looking at the outside looks. Yep, for sure. Because she can be beautiful as you know what on the outside. A 10 on the outside, but a 1 on the inside, man. You know? You gotta make sure it matches up. Black Nubian says should have an emergency fund in case things go south. Agreed. In Thailand and most Asian countries, foreigners cannot own land. Okay, fair enough.
Is no way. There is. Well, guess who wouldn't be married in Thailand? Guess who wouldn't be living in Thailand?
You're right. Exactly.
There is no way. I wish I would had somebody in somebody else's name in any country. United States. I wish what?
Man, listen. Yeah. Well, listen. You know, Kenya just announced anyone that's melanin can go over there without a visa and also purchase property. So you know where I would bring Ling Ling? I'll bring Ling Ling right over to Kenya.
Me and Ling Ling we'd be up.
Right.
She'll be wearing her African garb. We listen to all the Afro beats.
Right.
She be doing all the dance that the African ladies doing. She be doing the same one. Just believe me.
Yep.
Believe me.
Seriously.
She has such a Swahili accent.
Yep.
There's no way in the world I'm sticking in Thailand. But see, that's the part that's that skill. What comes with that, Kings, man, is that scarcity mindset.
Yeah.
Dudes they so caught on thinking that they're gonna lose the opportunity with this one woman that they'll never get another woman like her, which is a lie. Lie. All of us on this planet, nobody has a monopoly. We're all replaceable. So when I sit back and I see these dudes have this, well, you know, I love her so much. The scarcity mindset that I went on ahead and just let her put the house in her name. It seemed like she really loved me. No, your fantasy and your dream and the lie that you've been telling yourself about her, that's what fooled you. She didn't. All she had to do was be herself. Cunning. Yep. She was already cunning from day one.
Yep.
Because she knew that you put this fantasy about her and about Thailand in your mind. Thank you for letting me know that, Charles, because I kid you not. If I was single, there is no way in hell I would be marrying anybody in Thailand. And talking about putting property in another woman, that would not. Dude, I'd be like tailor-made dreams. I would visit, hang out, have my fun. But when it's time to settle some roots, if I'm a foreigner and I can't live in a country to where I can buy some land to leave to my next generation, I'm finding another country. I'm sorry. There is no way in hell I'm living in a country where I can't buy something to leave to the next generations. I don't care if it's for nieces and nephews. Somebody gonna have a legacy of their uncle being here or their dad being here. You see where I'm going with that, Jay? So
Absolutely.
I'm not just going with that. They're keeping us, my generation, Andre, from being able to buy property. You telling me I can't buy something to leave to the next generation?
Right.
And they can say that Uncle Andre left this for the family for 2 or 3 generations. My name will still ring because I was the one that brought that land and property.
Right.
Man, guess what? I'm going to another country.
Yep.
I'm going to another. There is no way in hell.
Yeah.
Y'all got all you Thailand dudes, Richie, Chocolate. I love y'all brothers, but when it come to ownership, there is no way in hell. No. Y'all can have it. Y'all bigger men than me.
Facts.
I did not know that. Thanks, Charles. I did not know foreigners could not own land.
I did know Thailand. I did know Thailand that you couldn't. Richie Mack mentioned it. And then also I think James mentioned it. Chocolate Man in Thailand.
Wow.
And also my man Grover from the Tip Network. He's lived out in Asia for a few years, and I think Tobias too. No, wait, I think so. Wait a minute. I gotta ask Tobias this, because if Tobias is gonna be staying out there, I gotta ask. Yeah, we gotta get some more intel on that. But for for the Asian countries that, like, if you're a foreigner you can't buy land, like, yeah, I'm not living there. I'm not putting my roots there.
No.
Like, yeah, like that's something where, like, I'll get like I'll do like 3-4 months there, hang out or whatever, but that's not my roots, not at all. So I'm gonna treat them just as they treat me. Like, hey, you know what? You come here, you have fun, you spend money. Okay, cool. I come there, I spend money, and then I'm out. You know what I'm saying? So like, this is a business transaction. That's all that is.
That's it.
I like to say education by itself does not equal common sense. Absolutely.
That's a good point.
Yeah, absolutely. I refuse to locate a country where I cannot own land and property. We just said that.
Yeah,
absolutely. Yes. Shout out to Black Nubian. Sorry if I'm going too fast.
No, take your time.
I like hearing non-slang speaking Black men speaking good knowledge that is not about external looks on a woman. Yeah, thank you. Appreciate it.
Oh yeah.
Speak that reality, bet on thyself for certain.
Mm-hmm.
She was able to outsmart you. Yeah, because she has home field advantage, and you'll never be the away team, even if you migrate and become a citizen. I got some pushback on that, Charles. I got some pushback on that because, like, I understand what you're saying in the grand scheme of things, but the thing is that, like, you know that you're playing an away game, because shoot, like even us melanated men who live in the United States, this is still an away game, but we're still able to become successful and things of that sort. So the thing is that if you're not able to put yourself in a winning position, or in a position to where you do lose, you end up with nothing. Doesn't matter where it is. It could be in Thailand. It could be even in the United States. Like, listen, you have to make sure that you are able to think, like, you're able to think not 5 steps ahead, 10 steps ahead. Got to be able to think like that. So I understand your overall premise with the home field advantage, but that's why I disagree, because the advantage doesn't necessarily mean as much as what I believe what you're making it out to be.
And when it comes to becoming a citizen, doors open up of equality that you don't have as like I have a lot of benefits being having a marriage visa here in Colombia, or somebody that has a retirement visa here in Colombia, or whatever country. But it goes to a whole nother level of benefits. Once I have citizenship, I could basically, whatever Andrea can do, I get the same benefits. All the same medical, all the same pension, all the same investments, all the same, whatever it may be, I get those same benefits. So the right to vote, the right to whatever it may be, even if they sat back and they said, well, if you can afford the right to bear arms, then you can go ahead and take this training, because the right to bear arms is controlled by the military here in Colombia. Mm-hmm. In other words, your classes and your courses and everything to bear arms, you have to take them by way of the military. They're the ones that are in control of it. And so I can't do that as a foreigner. But the moment I get my citizenship, I have that right. If I've got the money to pay for the training, and I have, the ability to confirm I don't have a criminal record in this country, and so forth and so forth, I have that ability. My credit line, I have an excellent credit line, but as a citizen, my credit line goes to a whole nother level of being able to purchase things that only maybe citizens can purchase. So I look at it from that perspective, but at the end of the day, I look at it all from the business perspective.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Absolutely. Exactly. It is a business side. You speak the truth. Real talk, Andre. So these dudes jumped the gun too early by falling in love and getting played. Yes, they did not protect themselves. They did not protect themselves. As they, as the old saying says, man, a hard head will make a soft ass, man.
Yes, it will.
Preach those facts. Be like you. Love that. So 200K in Colombian pesos is about 50 US dollars, correct? Yes,
Correct.
that's correct. I'm good on Africa. Real talk, no interest. Okay. In Colombia, you can own land being a foreigner, but with an investment visa.
Correct.
Yep, absolutely. Counter pushback. You may obtain citizenship, but you'll never fully be converted. And while we're in an away position, at least we know the land and we have access to their playbook.
Who wants to be fully converted though? I want to be. No matter this, the kicker, the goal for us passport users, blue book gentlemen, and passport bros, it's never to be. We don't want to be fully USA. We don't want to be fully Colombia. We don't want to be fully Thai. We want to be a part of every country we're getting passports in. In the words of Jay-Z, I got 5 passports. I ain't never going to jail. And I know it's a off. It's a flippant way of he's saying that. Listen, I'm taking advantage of acquiring passports or partial benefits of citizenships in different countries. I don't need all the benefits in the cultural dynamic of Colombia to be able to say I'm 100% Colombian. All I need is for them to put me in front of that Bible and say, raise your right hand. You are Colombian. Yes, I am. Guess what? Now 100% Colombian, 100% U.S. citizen. I don't know all the dynamics of Kentucky, the hills of Kentucky. I don't know all of what's going on in Alabama with the Alabama American citizens. But guess what? Just because I can't relate to everything that's going on in Alabama or up in the hills of Kentucky, that doesn't make me from Detroit any less of a citizen of the United States. So it is culturally in other countries. I'm not trying to learn all the cultures of Colombia to be able to relate and be 100% blended into Colombia. I didn't do that in the States. 50 states, and there's parts of Oregon. I can't tell you what they do up in Oregon. But at the same time, I'm just as of American. I can't tell you about the 5 barrios of New York, but I'm just as much of an American as they are. So it is in these other countries. Guys, do not get fooled into thinking that you have to be 100% know all of Spanish in the dictionary from one end to the other end. You got to know every salsa performer. You got to know every food. You got to have 5, 10 relatives, 3 kids, and now maybe you might be officially accepted as Colombia. Personally, guys, I am not asking to be accepted in any country. I'm going to repeat that. Countries are, I look at it from the business perspective. My goal is 3 pieces of property in Colombia, a piece of property in my next country, and at least 3 to 5 passports globally before I pass on. My kids, I want them to be born with at least 3 passports, their mama's country, their daddy's country, and whatever country we living in. That's my goal as a business. All that other stuff that y'all Charles, you trying to add on to it, that's not many of our goals as passport bros anyway. We could care less about who's accepting us, who's not, political affiliations. We don't care nothing about none of that. Whether we like this food or that food, not that, we don't care about that. We care about, in the long term, the grand scheme of things, how our movements as men with passports are going to us on a global scale and affect the next generation of our kids as passport men and blue book gentlemen. That's all we care about. So whether my point in saying this, Charles, in a roundabout way, whether we are accepted or not, that was never a part of the blueprint anyway. So your statement is somewhat moot, brother.
I have nothing to add. I completely agree. I completely agree with that. Let's see here. You'll forever be a foreigner, even if you've gone native, and you'll never fully integrate. Just because you don't have access doesn't mean you have full access. Your kids and country will, though. He just said that. All right. Now he says, you're right, Dre, because passport bros are free to travel, and you don't need a citizenship if you are a citizen of the world.
Bingo.
Boom. Yeah. That's it right there. That's it right there, man. Yep. Juan's got it. Juan's got it. You know what I mean? And and Juan is Juan is from Venezuela. So he's got it. He understands. You don't have to be stateless. That's not a good position to be in. Not stateless, but you can have all the visas you want and make businesses wherever you want. That's it right there. That's it right there. We gotta understand. Charles, Dre and I are looking at this from a business perspective of what we're gonna leave, what our legacy is gonna be, and I understand, once you start having children, Charles, I'm telling you, your mindset is gonna start in that direction as well. You'll start thinking about legacy, because legacy is so important, especially in a community that we don't value it as much, because the legacies that we've come from, we either don't know our parents, or we was raised with our aunt, or we was raised with Big Mama and things of that sort. So we want to make sure that we change the narrative of what we want to make our legacy be. I don't want to continue going down this rabbit hole, because this is going to be a completely different conversation. But just to kind of put that pin in what you're trying to say, Charles, that's what Dre and I are trying to get at. But I don't want to continue down this path, because I know it's just going to lead to another conversation. You know what I mean? So we could have that one another day. All right. And so the last one, we are at number 8. Having high or false expectations.
Yes.
So I'll let you set this one up, because I know this is one that you gave to me.
There was a show when I was a kid called Fantasy Island, and you see the actor who played Tattoo. He'd go to the top of the tower and would say, "They're playing," and the plane would fly in, and whatever fantasy the people had on that plane, it was the island's job to bring it to pass. And a lot of times it taught the people a lesson that by the end of the show, that this fantasy wasn't worth it, or I'm glad I had this fantasy and it helped my life. That's the lesson that we'll learn at the end of each episode. A lot of guys still, when the plane land, they still think they can still hear Tattoo saying, "They're playing, they're playing." They still think that the fantasy that they came on the plane with is actually supposed to come true. Forget about reality, forget about the facts, forget about the history, forget about all that. My fantasy of Colombian women supposed to come true because I bought a ticket and I got on the plane to come. Forget about Kings and Dreams telling me don't go on Tinder. My fantasy says I can go on Tinder and I'm going to meet a wife. These dudes have false expectations and expectations of Colombian women that have 4th grade educations, 5th grade educations, 8th grade educations. You really expect quality out of a woman that's been scrubbing pots and pans her whole life and she don't know nothing about nothing. You really expect that to be quality, instead of getting some of these good women that's here in Colombia or in Thailand or in whatever country you're going to, that can help take you to another level of experiencing their country. But you don't need that. You don't want that. You rather have false expectations. Dudes, I kid you not, after living here, one of the number one things that cause guys to mess up their vacation, false expectations. They expect the girl to be, they expect not to be the one to get drugged by the chick on Tinder. You know how you and I were just talking the other day, Kings, about the young man that just got a couple of days ago. Guy down here, guys, just in case you haven't heard about it. Young man got. I don't know if you got a video or
I do, yes. So
I'm gonna leave it alone. Then but finish saying what you was gonna say, and then I was gonna jump into the video. But the foundation of the video is guy came down here to Cali, Colombia over the last couple of weeks. You know, Cali is not mainly known for dudes getting got, but hey, these ladies out here, they're learning from Medellin. They're learning from Cartagena. They like, if Americans are still that stupid in Cartagena and they're that stupid in Medellin, why, and they're that stupid in Bogota, why do we think that smart Americans like Andre are going to come here in droves? Nope. It's going to be some stupid Americans that's going to come here to Cali, and this video is going to showcase what ends up happening to some of the guys that come to Cali and don't listen, but live with or walk with false or fake expectations.
Absolutely, man. All right, let's get right into it. Hold on, let me pause my music.
Towards the end of the last day, probably 2 days before I had to leave, I kind of got a little lonely. So I was like, well, you know, let me try to go on Tinder. Don't use Tinder, but let me try to go on Tinder. Find me a little nice chick, and before I leave, you know, in the night with that, went on Tinder, found one. She wanted to meet up. We met at it's called La Commercial Plaza. It's like 30 minutes away from the Chippy Choppy Mall in the La Flora district. She stayed like 10 minutes away from there. Ended up waiting for her. She ended up coming. We used Google Translate, of course. We went to a bar. I don't remember the name, in the mall, in the Plaza Mall, right? So we're sitting down. We're using Google Translate. She's just telling me a little bit about her. She's complimenting me, of course. Eyes and, you know, you're a genuine guy, nice and everything, yada, yada, yada. Have a few drinks, have a little bit more, few drinks. We get up, and she ends up taking me to another bar, and this is where it happened. We get to another bar, and when we sit down, and she orders El Jimador, I think that's what it's called. It's a white liquor. Start drinking, and
oh, guys. Right, guys, but check this out. I don't know if you guys caught this at the beginning, but he said he met her on Tinder, and then he said, don't use Tinder. Yes, so which means that he's heard Dre say, he's heard myself say it. Razor Rays, who else? Who else? DC Born Rob. I'm trying to think who else. Who else says don't use Tinder in Colombia? I mean, like, he's heard this before, so he knew not to, like, like with the kid, and you tell like a little kid, hey, little Johnny, don't push this button. I'm telling you, don't push this button. And Johnny just pushes the button out of curiosity. And next thing you know, what happens? Johnny gets something thrown in his face or whatever the case is. I'm saying, dude, we told you not to use Tinder. Not to use Tinder, and you did it anyway. But I digress.
What was his call? What was his call? He said it. He said that a couple days before I got ready to leave, I was lonely.
Lonely.
These women feast. You know what they call a lonely man coming from the States? Food.
Food and opportunity.
The opportunity, food. You dudes. Let's be honest. Let's be honest. We're gonna end this show. Continue to being honest. We understand that some of you brothers are lonely. Got you. You make your money. You're grinding. But when you go home, it's just you and your pit bull. I got you. I ain't mad at you, dog. I feel where you're coming from. You take care of your shorties, or you know, you're doing the right thing as a dad, and you want some intimacy. You got your vacation time coming up. Your boys convince you to go to Colombia or Brazil again. Nothing wrong with that. But now you feeling a little lonely down there. Maybe you ain't push up on some women while you was there. Maybe you kind of felt some kind of awkward way. But now you just feeling like, man, I'm socially awkward. Some of you dudes, can I be for real?
Yep.
Kings. Some of these dudes blame not knowing the language on the fact that for real, even if you knew the language fluently to where you could win a Spanish spelling bee, you socially awkward, bruh.
Yes.
And these women prey on some of you dudes that have high expectations, false expectations, and you were socially awkward and you got a few dollars in your pocket. You are the perfect prey. You are the perfect food.
Yep. Absolutely.
Wait for you. You don't wait for you to get lonely day one. Like King said, this your party day. Day two, that's your party day too. Now all of a sudden, now you're to day 5 and you ain't smashed nobody. Now you're getting antsy because you'd have heard about all your other boys smash somebody.
Right.
You down here in Cali with a number of black folks. And so you ain't smashed. You don't want to go back home and tell them you ain't smashed nobody in Cali. So what ends up happening is
lose your inhibitions and then you become a mark. You become a mark. You know,
okay, baby.
There's one thing about the socially awkwardness, right? With the socially awkwardness, it's a lot of guys, especially now in this social media era, right? Because like one of the things that I could say, and even though technically I'm a hybrid, but in my adult years, I was so used to having to come up and speak to a woman before I was sending like a DM on Instagram or sending a message on Facebook or TikTok and all of these other places, right? You know, before all of the dating apps. Like we had like a couple of dating sites. We had like Black Planet, and then we had I think it was called Mahente. That was like the Latin and stuff like that. You know what I mean? But like it was nowhere near as potent or as accurate or as immediate rather as Tinder, a Bumble, Hinge, and all of these other places, right? Or and even as immediate as Instagram or Facebook. So I think and I believe that a lot of these guys, what they'll do is, you know, they'll send all of these messages and things of that sort, and then when you have the woman, you know, face to face, they're so enamored with her beauty because it's like, man, I've never seen a woman, you know, so beautiful, you know, that's willing to actually entertain having a conversation with me. And then these guys, they get so they get so starstruck, or you know what I mean, you know, blinded by the beauty, right? Like and I want to segue into this. I don't want to be too long-winded. I want to finish this video because I know we're approaching the 3-hour mark. But there's this show called 90 Day Fiance, and this guy, and you might have seen this one. This guy, he was dating this woman from Piera, Colombia, and it was during the pandemic, you know. And this guy, you know, has a good job and stuff like that. But like, you can look at this girl and you could kind of tell, like, she's the party girl type. She told the guy, like, you know, she hasn't had long relationships. She has 2 kids, so he's taking care of the kids. being stepdaddy, the cleanup man, whatever, right? But he's so enamored with her beauty, and she's just really telling him in not so many ways that she doesn't want to be with him. She's not in love with him, but she's still yet taking his money. And then he got frustrated. It was like, well, you taking my money, but it's like, listen, dude, she already told you that she doesn't even want to be with you. And then find out like later on in the season how he met her. He met her on OnlyFans. So you was already simping on OnlyFans. So she knew that you're not her boyfriend. You are a long-term customer. That's what you are. You are a long-term customer. And guys, listen, as Dre said, we know when you get back to the crib, the woman in the States, some of these women can be very difficult to deal with. They act like they shit don't stink and they just, mediocre, that they think they look better than what they are. We get all that. But you have to be able to put yourself in a position to where you don't care if you lose because you know you're going to win. You have to have that confidence within yourself, but only you can have that confidence within yourself, because if you don't, what's going to happen is you lose your inhibitions and then you get taken advantage of. Whether the woman is running your pockets and you end up paying her rent and you end up paying for these 2 kids and she, she wants you to marry her, but the kid's father has no idea what the kids' fathers are and not putting that responsibility on them, but she's putting that responsibility on you. So that shows you what type of woman she is. But you still want to be a part of her life because the top is so good and the poom poom just make you erupt. I get it. But guys, you gotta make sure that you get a hold of yourself.
And a lot of dudes don't have self-confidence. That's why they drink when they go out with the ladies. You socially awkward. Come on, guys.
Yep.
We're gonna end this live stream without lying, or do you want me to tell you some good old-fashioned lies? Because I can do that for you too. Some of you dudes ain't got no confidence when it comes to ladies for real. Right. You was locked up for in 2020, locked you down, and all you knew was talking to people over the internet or online or playing video games or chopping it up over the phone. That's all you knew for a year, year and a half. Then they let you back out with a passport. Now, mind you, once again, all you knew for a year, year and a half was be in the house and talk to somebody over the phone. Every once in a while, meet face to face, but most of the time you do using dating apps. So now you're back into society with a passport and a few dollars in your pocket, and you've been socially awkward. A whole planet been socially awkward with each other for 2 years, and you think you about to come down to here to Colombia and just be so alert and so on point, or you're gonna go to Thailand, or you're gonna go to whatever country, you're gonna be so alert. You off your game for 2 years. That's like when Jordan went to the Wizards. Bruh, that's how you guys look when you come down here to Colombia. You look like Jordan playing for the Wizards. It just don't work. You look like Jordan playing for the White Sox. It just don't work.
What's a great analogy? When Jordan retired and he came back and wore 45 and he had to get back in game shape.
Yeah,
because the Bulls ended up losing to Orlando, but then he came. Yeah, like I like that one better. But I understand what you're saying on a serious note, though. Like you were so used to being in this bubble, having phone conversations, maybe video chat or whatever. But things get real when you face to face with a person, because you can't think of what to type or whatever. You got to respond in real time. You got to react in real time. And yeah, she may look good, but you have to remember that there are more of her than there are of you. So which means that you have the pick of the litter. But until you believe that in yourself, you're always going to be papaya. You're always going to be the cleanup man. You're always going to be paying her rent. You're always going to be that simp. And she knows it. And because the thing is that, oh, papi, mi amor, whatever, she speak all that sexy Spanish shit to you, and all you doing is running up. running up Western Union, MoneyGram, all of that, paying her phone bill. Oh, me and more, you know, my birthday's coming up. Oh, I want the iPhone 25, whatever it's called. I'm saying you're gonna be doing all of that, bro.
I remember when I was single, and I came here
bro.
to. Well, I remember when I was single and I was here in Colombia.
Mhm.
I think it was like my second or third trip, and met this nice little sister, and she was like, "You, why don't you buy me an iPhone?" I forgot what the iPhone was out back then, right? She said, "But buy me an iPhone."
Mhm.
I said, "You ain't got." I said, "I can't buy you an iPhone." She said, "Why?" I said, "You ain't got iPhone coochie." I said, "Because if you had iPhone coochie, one of these Colombian dudes would have already bought your iPhone, right?" I said, "You got 100,000." At that time, it was like 60,000. I said, "You got 60,000 pesos coochie." I say, "So you got a choice: take this 60,000 pesos, or you don't get nothing at all." And she wasn't even pay for play. But I treated her like she was pay for play. In other words, there's nothing rare about you to make you think that just because you're a regular chick, you can, and I'm American, that you can actually test me to see if I'm gonna get you an iPhone. I say you ain't got iPhone coochie. Well, what you mean by that? I say if you had iPhone coochie, you either had a foreigner that already bought you a cell phone, or you had a local guy to buy you a cell phone. I know local Colombian dudes too broke to buy you a cell phone. I say, and then secondly, I say most foreign dudes, they're gonna give you 60,000 pesos. I say, so here's what you do. You take the 60,000 pesos if you ain't paid for play, or you get nothing and you get replaced. So which one you want? I said, but you'll never see me purchase you a cell phone. Ever. Ever. The only person I ever purchased a cell phone for in this country is the person that I married. Other than that, that's not about to happen. And you guys are just nobody wants to admit that you're socially awkward. Like I said, so now you blame it on, well, I don't know Spanish. Bruh, you got your brother Andre down here in Colombia all these years. I know a little bit of Spanish. And I'm going to every store, every location. I got friends all over the city. So that learning that's saying I don't know Spanish, you can say that I got my driver's license not knowing Spanish. I'm driving around a whole new country not knowing Spanish. The one thing that I'm not is what many of you dudes are, and you don't want to admit. You are socially awkward. There's nothing wrong with being that, but you got to admit to that. Some of you dudes hide behind your money. Let's be real. You hide behind your money and you rather pay for play because in real life, you socially awkward. Right. And most of and not willing to realize most of the world right now is socially awkward. We're all trying to learn how to face-to-face communicate with each other. Women are messing it up, men are messing it up. We're all learning. But to try to hide behind the fact, well, I don't know Spanish, or hide behind the fact that, well, I'm gonna just throw a female, I'd rather pay for play. No, you dudes need to stop lying to yourself. And because I watch you and I see you guys get off the plane and I see how you fumble with your words, you fumble with your demeanor, and your confidence is kind of low, and you kind of like double question yourself. Not even the females. I watch you guys double question yourselves. And I kid you not, I see it all day long. So it's not like something I'm just attacking you, brothers, but I'm just bringing something to light. It's a lot of you brothers that's getting off the planes in these countries, and you have no social skills anymore. And you need to get those back on track, or you're going to end up, a lot more of you guys going to end up like this guy or worse. Because all she had to do, check it out, Kings, all she had to do was give him a couple of drinks and a couple of compliments. You notice that? Mm-hmm. She let him, they were in the mall. He forgot the name of the mall, but he was in the mall down here. They met in the mall. She gave him some compliments. He remembered the compliments, but he didn't remember where he was. They got a couple of drinks. She got him drunk enough, Mr. Socially Awkward, who had been here in Cali, Colombia long enough to where he got lonely. So you got a lonely dude that's socially awkward, that all she had to do was give him compliments and a couple of drinks and lure him by his Pinocchio nose, lying to himself, to another bar, and that's where she got him. That's literally what took place.
Yep, absolutely. Let's continue with the story, because I think he's about to go into the part where he gets taken advantage of.
At some point, she told me to kiss her, and I think it was at that point when I did, she may have slipped something in my drink, or she could have had the bartender do it. I know they usually do that too. But at some point, that's when it happened. So when I took my second shot, I just didn't feel, I felt funny.
Pause it. Bartenders do not slip stuff into your drink. Bartenders are one of the few employees, the few jobs that make decent money in Colombia, and they're not about to risk their job to slip something in your drink, and somebody finds out and they get fired and they can't feed their kids and they can't feed their wife. Bartenders do not, and I'm gonna say this again, they may watch the female slip it in there, but most bartenders in South America are not a part of a coup to get you. They got too much to lose. It's hard enough to get the job.
Right.
Least long, you see what I'm saying? It's hard enough to get the job.
Right.
Least long, which is not a word, and then to sit back and lose it in the name of slipping something in your drink. No, that does not happen here in Colombia. In other parts, you guys may have testimonies, but as far as I know, in all the places that I've been here in Colombia, it is no record of any bartender slipping something in somebody's drink.
Yeah, I've never heard of a bartender slipping something in someone's drink. As you mentioned, finding lucrative jobs in Latin America is a challenge, and being a bartender is a lucrative job. You're able to feed your family, you get tips every day, right? So like I don't see that happening unless he took her, or unless she took him rather, to like a really like grunge hole in the wall, like I don't know. And even then, I'm still skeptical of that. I think that he was just so enamored by the attention that she was showing him, and he probably was looking at her face, her body, and she probably like rubbed his arm and then slipped right past his arm and popped it right in his drink, not even paying attention. I just can't see the bartender doing something like that. I just can't. Not with like a job like that lucrative. I just don't see someone doing that, because those type of jobs, like people will show up to work 2 hours early because they know that this is a job that they need.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
All right, let's continue.
She then asked, I asked her, actually, I was like, hey, would you like to go back to my Airbnb? Obviously, you know what was on my mind. And and she was pretty Latina, Afro Latina. She was like, yeah, show me where you live. I showed her where I live and everything. And I got up, and that's when I kind of didn't feel right. But I just chalked that up IP to me being drunk. Got up a little wobbly, she's helping me a little bit. I get in the car, which I thought was an Uber, but from what my friends were telling me, it probably wasn't an Uber. It was probably just somebody she knew, and got in the back of the car, and IP, when I got in the back of the car at that point, I don't know what happened. I don't know when I fell asleep. I just did. And when I woke up, I was outside my Airbnb, on the ground, on the concrete outside my Airbnb, my phone and my wallet gone, which I just got a new phone yesterday. And on Monday, I'm working on getting all my credit cards back. But she has maxed my credit cards, which I've taken care of that also. They're going to give me all my money back. She's done some damage to my Navy Federal card, which is my main card, but I'm going to take care of that Monday too. I'm getting all my money back, and I got recommended to call the U.S. Embassy to also, they'll compensate me also for, stuff.
No, they won't.
Yeah,
There's no such thing as the embassy compensating you. Embassy only gives money out to individuals for emergencies. If you get stranded, if you get hospitalized, the embassy to a certain extent may help you by pointing you to a embassy sponsored hospital. But the embassy does not reimburse ever. There's no record in the in history of the U.S. embassy. Oh, you got robbed? Well, we're gonna look out for you, like an insurance policy. They don't do that. They give actually how the U.S. embassy works is this: you get robbed, you're stranded, no money, no food. They will loan you a certain amount of money. But guess what? When you get back to the States, you got to pay that money back. If you don't, they will put a stamp on your passport as far as electronically, and you cannot travel anywhere else until you pay the U.S. embassy back. That's in the Department of in the State Department's website. So everything that he's saying so far, once again, fantasy island, telling yourself lies, overestimating, overassuming, and at the end of the day, you guys continue to get got. I'm Kings. I'm telling you something, man. In all sincerity, you know how you see these female dating coaches that have said I've given up on
matchmaking,
on coaching women.
Yep.
I'm so close to that part when it comes to men.
Yeah.
I mean that from about the advice that I give men day in, day out, living here, it's starting to get moot. It's starting to get to that point where I'm so tired of repeating myself. I sent this video to DC Rob. You know what DC Rob said to me? He said, I'm done posting videos to men. He said, unless somebody expires, I don't post videos anymore concerning dudes getting got. He said, because men don't listen. And I feel just like how those ladies that try to coach black women and they've given up on being a dating coach or a marriage coach for them. I feel the exact same way. Because dudes keep asking me the same questions over and over again, but they keep doing the same stupid over and over again. Yeah. Over and over again, man. I've done over 1,000 videos, 1,000 videos on how to do this. And they still try to tell me I don't know what the F I'm talking about. And so I'm at that point, I'm so close to like, you know what? Maybe I should just go back to doing travel videos, kind of like pull back on the advice, continue to do the live streams, but like giving dudes advice on dating, I'm at that point, I'm done. Because y'all don't listen and y'all don't care to listen. You think you know everything, go ahead. And so I'm at that point where when it comes to dudes getting drugged, I don't care anymore. I don't get moved by it. I don't get fazed by it because I know men, especially black men, do not listen. And we don't listen to each other in the States, and you dang sure ain't gonna listen to one of your brothers on YouTube trying to tell you that, dude, how y'all doing it is bass backwards, and y'all gonna end up floating somewhere or being found in the morgue 3 years later because you didn't have any identification here in South America or in Central America or Southeast Asia. I'm really at that point as he was talking, and I've kind of kept this to myself for the last few months, but I'm tired. It gets tiring watching the same type of brothers, the same type, giving the same conversations over and over and over again for 4 years. And you all look at me and look at Kings and Dreams and look at Flyboy Way and look at Ace and look at Check, and you don't listen to a word we say. You think we don't know what the F we talking about. And it's almost as if you're trying to prove us wrong. I can prove them wrong. I've been to Brazil 15. Do you not know that there are women waiting for you to come to Brazil for the 16th time? Because you are the easiest prey. The easiest prey to get is prey with his guards down. You are the easiest, not the new dude. The easiest prey to get is you dude that's been to Thailand so many times, been to Europe so many times, because you got your guards down because you think you know everything. And now I don't need to get him in the spring. I need to drug him right around November before Christmas hits. And that's when they drug you. You've been to Colombia 5 times throughout the year. Now it's November. Now she drugs you because she needs to drug you for Christmas. But you guys don't realize that. My fault for the rant, man.
No, it's true. It's true. I mean, you know, I'm frustrated as well because like you see these guys, right? And shout out to Raise, but like it's almost every week like there's a new person. This person got taken advantage of in Medellin or Cali or Cartagena or wherever, right? And it's like now Thailand is starting to become a part of it. There's a guy, there's an article that came out, and I didn't want to talk about it because I didn't know what the full story is. But there's a guy in Pattaya. He was found in his apartment, and I guess he had been there for a little under a week, and like the situation looks a little bit like foul play. Now I do know that in Thailand, I forgot what it's called, but they got some drug. It's called like Happy or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And so why am I mentioning this? I'm mentioning this because, guys, you lose your inhibitions, and what we're saying is that like you need to have a certain confidence and belief in yourself to not be taken advantage of. But you have to believe that there's more of them than they are of you. So which means that you that you know that you can that you have the ability to choose, but you also can't be afraid to lose. You can't be afraid to lose. And another thing, there probably are some guys that say, oh man, you know, these content creators or whatever, man, these dudes just be talking crazy or whatever just to get views and stuff like that. Man, you know, I'm gonna go over there. I'm gonna be all right, man. You know, Tinder always worked for me. Man. I always do my numbers on Tinder, man. Ain't nothing gonna happen, man. No cap, whatever. Yeah, but you putting yourself at risk. And you know another thing is that like, you know, when you put yourself at risk, you also you know, especially if you have a family, you have people that care about you, and especially if you have children too, you being selfish, you putting them at risk. See, not only do I speak at it from a confident man, but I also speak at this because I'm a father. And I want to make sure that you get there safe and get back safe. Now, we may have had some jokes and stuff that we laughed about in this 3-hour conversation, but do not get it twisted. Everything that we've said thus far, we are dead serious about. And you guys need to pay attention. Because thankfully that this guy lost his credit card and things like that. Some guys don't come back.
No.
There was months ago, there was an Asian guy who just graduated from medical school. He's about to be an MD, a doctor, he was about to make bank and got deleted or expired. This guy in Pattaya, 40 years old, he was found almost a week later in his apartment. Family probably looking for him.
Yep.
You guys got to think. You want to have fun. You want to turn up. You want to blow some steam. Trust me, I know. I have one of the most challenging jobs. Shoot, I gotta be up at 5 a.m. to go to work, but I'm rocking out trying to make sure that you guys are getting educated. Because I feel as though it's my obligation to my people and to men. You guys need to open your ears and listen up. Don't ever think that it won't happen to you. And next thing you know, you looking in the mirror, oh, this happened to me.
Facts.
And this guy, and this guy's laughing. This is not a funny matter. Maybe he's nervous or something like that, but this is not a laughing matter. I mean, thankfully, this guy is still able to live and tell his story. But he knew what he was doing was on shaky ground. He knew that he should not have been on Tinder. Another thing, guys. If you don't know the area, get familiar with a local that does. Because why are you letting someone that you don't know dictate where you guys are going? You letting... Guys, when you go to these countries, you're expected to be the alpha, the leader. Look into some places, you wanted to hang out with her, cool, but look into some places where you can see, okay, this is a safe, cool place or whatever. Go to a populated public area. You don't know her. In a populated public area, she's less likely to take advantage of you.
True.
And always have your hand on your drink. Even if you're looking at her in conversation, always make sure that you have your drink right in eyesight. And if you did not see it, and if you had to go to the bathroom or whatever the case is, and you can't bring your drink with you, that's okay. Throw it out. Get another one. Listen, I would rather you be broken safe and rich and deleted.
Just, yeah. I'll sit back and we'll continue on with the video.
Yeah, no worries. Let's finish this up. But no, I get it. You've been doing this for a long time, man. So I get it, bro.
That's necessarily what happened. I recommend everybody just stay off of Tinder. If you want to meet women, I strongly advise you to meet them in the grocery store. Try to talk to them in the grocery store. Hit them with a cheesy line like, "Hey, I'm looking for this," and then try to slide your way in on them. But they're real welcoming. And then when they hear that accent, they're gonna be like, "Oh," and then they're probably they'll help you. They're really nice, welcoming people. But learn Spanish though. That's the biggest thing. Learn Spanish, and it will take you far. And
let me ask this, brother. Let me ask this. So this woman that you met on Tinder, what race was she? Was she white, Latina?
Black.
Was she
She was
black?
Afro-Latina.
Oh man. Damn it.
Yeah.
That sucks. I'm guessing the peanut butter, brown skin, curly hair, dimes, right?
Dark skin, long natural hair, with a nice looking girl. I guess, man, and I guess I just wasn't thinking, I was thinking with my little head and my big head, and I was just like, man, I just want to have fun for the last night, and that happened. So I learned though.
So I'm happy that nothing fatal happened to you, but obviously it's sad that you got robbed. I don't wish that on anybody, especially a passport, bro. But I'm happy that nothing worse happened to you, bro. So that's great. So what's your advice? You're telling brothers to stay off Tinder. That's where the trouble starts. And also be careful as to your drinks. Always watch your drinks in the bar. Buy your own drinks. I think that's very important there, brother, isn't it?
Yeah, buy your own drinks. Definitely watch the bartender do it. Watch the bartender make your drinks. Don't do what I did and just, you're feeling good after those drinks, and then we go to another bar and you're like, nothing's gonna happen, because something could possibly happen. Especially if you don't speak the language that well and they know that and you're visiting. Always watch the bartender make your drink. Yeah, don't ever just, unless you go up to them, unless it's a club you go to and you give them a little tip and be like, hey man, take care of me, you know, you can do that, and they will do that. But as far as that, man, don't just watch your drinks, and have somebody with you.
So do you think, so two questions here, brother. Do you think that she may have slipped it in your drink, or do you think the bartender did it? And second of all, brother, do you think it's very important that when brothers go to Colombia, they should go with someone else and you should both be in the club together, obviously dealing with women, have each other's back?
Yeah, I think at one point when she told me to kiss her and I leaned forward because she could see the drinks and I couldn't because, you know, my back's turned. I think at that point, that's when she may have, you know, put something in my drink without me knowing as I was kissing her, because the kiss just didn't feel genuine. You know when a kiss feels genuine or not. And it just didn't feel, at the point, it didn't feel genuine. But, you know, I wasn't, like I said, I wasn't thinking about that. That's when I think she spiked it. And, you know, it took a little time to do its magic. And obviously, you know, when I got in the car, I fell asleep. That's when it worked. And yes, I do advise, if you do going to meet someone on Tinder, which don't use Tinder, but if you're going to meet someone on a date, just bring someone with you. They don't have to be sitting directly at the table, but just be around watching you. And when you get in the car and everything, yeah, he gets or she gets in the car too, you know, just to make sure everything's safe. I highly recommend that. And another thing, guys, man, learn the language. It will help you out so much. Most people tell me I'm a decent looking, attractive guy. I try to take care of my body. But even I was getting choosing signals. I was definitely getting choosing signals. Girls were blushing and smiling and telling me they wanted to learn English when they damn sure didn't want to learn English. I know what they wanted, but it would have really helped out a lot if I learned the language, which I am. I'm taking 6 months to a year to learn the language. So when I go back to Colombia next year, I'll be set.
Awesome, brother. And last question. So the kiss that she gave you, right?
Yeah.
You said it didn't feel genuine. Was it like a small peck, or was it, you know, It was. Did you exchange tongues, or how was the kiss like? And go on, bro.
Oh, sorry about that.
You go.
So when I kissed her, like when I gave Natalia, do you remember the other girl that I sent you the picture of? That girl, when she kissed me, it was genuine. You know, tongue in the mouth and everything. She was down. But with this one, it was more of like I tried to put my tongue in her mouth, and she kind of didn't want to do it. It was kind of like I'm just doing it, you know. Now that I think about it, it was like I'm just doing this, just, you know, for a distraction. It just wasn't genuine. It was kind of like a little peck, you know, a small little peck like that.
So, wow, a couple of things here. All right, so he leaned forward, took his eyes off the drink, and as I mentioned earlier, keep your eye on your drink. You always keep your eye on your drink. If you happen to lose eye contact with your drink, throw it away, get another one. Be safe rather than be sorry. Then the thing is that he said that he tried to put his tongue in her mouth when he kissed her. She didn't really reciprocate. From that moment, I would have ended the date right then and there. That's what I would have done. You not really feeling me like that. So why did you tell me to kiss you? There's something up. And I get, like, bro, I get it. You were trying to get it in. But why didn't the antennas go off and say, okay, she's asking me to kiss her, but I try to put my tongue in her mouth, but she doesn't want my tongue in her mouth? That doesn't make any sense. This situation does not add up. It doesn't add up, man.
He was getting choosing signals the whole time he was here in Cali. He said the women were checking him out. They were giving him.
I was about to say that too.
And he didn't take advantage of them.
Yeah, and he said he said that he was hanging out with some other girl and he kissed her, and he said that was genuine. So why didn't you hang out with that girl? I don't know what happened with that girl, but
The other thing is, guys, I keep trying to say this and nobody wants to listen. Colombia and much of South America, not all, is not a hookup culture. Or at least Colombia. I don't know how it is in other locations. Most of the average decent Colombian women, you ain't gonna get it the first night. Party girls, yes. Pay for play, yes. I've been saying this for the last 4 years. The average Colombian woman, you are not, it's not the United States. It is not certain parts of South America. It's Colombia. It is not a hookup culture. I don't care if she kisses you, if she's affectionate, if she really likes you. In Colombia, you are not hitting it the first night unless you're a party girl or pay for play. That's it. Get it out your system that, well, I got a girl. I don't care what you did. I know one thing. All the women that I met that were quality women, you wouldn't hit it the first night. Secondly, and I'm so tired of saying this one, why is it that on every date or encounter or every woman that you guys hang out with, the only person that's got something to lose at the table is you? You guys keep hanging out with some of the brokest chick that have nothing to lose. They can drug you because they have no job to lose. They have nothing to lose of you getting, if you find out where they live, they have nothing to lose. You got everything to lose. Some of you guys are parents, like Kings was just saying. Some of you guys have careers and businesses. You got everything to lose. Why are you sitting down across from the table from women that have nothing to lose? Just about every chick outside of brothels that sat in front of me, and I mean this from the bottom of my heart. Y'all can sit back and say, well, he just egotistical, this and that. No, I'm careful. Every woman that I went on a date with here in Colombia, I think maybe except for maybe one or two, they all had something to lose. They all had some type of career, some type of something going on. Even if I was here on vacation for 5 days, I don't deal with no chicks that ain't got nothing to lose. Nothing. You dudes deal with some of the brokest, beautiful bottom feeders. I have beautiful, gorgeous, in 4th grade education, and they got nothing to lose. So of course she gonna drug you. Like I said, I've never heard of an incident where somebody got drugged by a school teacher, a female police officer, a female firefighter, a female executive. Never. Now one incident on Scopolamine website on Facebook. Now, one time have I read in the news here down in Colombia, a woman was in a school principal, drugs foreigner. Never. Right. You guys fear women that got something. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is about the self-confidence of the brother that gets on this plane. Why are y'all coming to the? Could y'all please tell me? Because I feel flabbergasted. Could you please tell me, when you know you got no self-esteem to low self-esteem, you know that you socially awkward, why are you getting on these planes coming to these countries? You are a victim. You the easiest prey to get, and I do not understand why men are continuing to do this. It's a losing crap game, like in Vegas. You are not gonna win. You may slide by with like in Vegas, you may win 2 or 3 good hands, or you may win 2 or 3 good days, but you are going to get got until you get your confidence up, until you get your mindset up. Just as much of your money. Having a passport does not mean that every man knows how to walk themselves. Walk in social settings. And I understand that, guys. Like I said, I understand the world has been shut down for 2 years, and you got to learn how to be social again. But just like this gentleman who named off all the things that he shouldn't do, and yet he did them anyway. There's a lot more guys that are doing it like that, like he's doing it. He's the norm. I'm going to say this for the last time. This guy here is the norm. He is not an exception.
Yep.
And that's the sad part.
Yeah. You make an excellent point, man. Like, Well, you know, a lot of guys. I don't want to say a lot, but a good amount of guys. No, for this one, I'm gonna have to say a lot. I'm sorry. I'm gonna have to keep it all the way real here, man. A lot of you guys, you go out on dates with these women, hang out with these women who have nothing to lose. You gotta like, if you're gonna be hanging out, meet a quality woman. I'll tell you a story. All right. So years ago, I was managing this recording artist. Um, and so, you know, he was performing at like different places and things like that. And so I would be so consumed with getting like the baddest chicks to the after party, you know, hanging out, you know, getting in, whatever. Right. And so this one chick, she was, you know, this one chick, she was cute. She was very, you know, she was very attractive. Right. But like, as you know, as we're hanging out, you know, she's saying that she, you know, she lost custody of her daughter, and she's like living at like this hotel, you know, right?
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't have much going on. And I was so hell bent on just getting it in with her. And my man said to me, he said, "Yo, you gotta step your pussy game up, bro." I never forgot that. I never forgot that. Why am I saying that? Because a lot of you guys need to step your pussy game up. What does that mean? That means quality over quantity.
Correct.
When that was said to me that day, I said, you know what? Man. And the girl who I was trying to hook up with, yo, she was a strong 9, but she had so many things going on. All I could think about was getting it in. And like, what if you know, like, and even you can have all the condoms in the world, but what if to say she ended up being pregnant or something like that? That could have been somebody I had to deal with for the rest of my life, who was a beautiful bottom feeder. Guys, you guys have to realize this. When you guys are dating these women, bringing these women to these, you know, these nice restaurants, and it may not be, you know, it may be okay for you, but it's like 5-star to these women, right? And you're paying $2 a beer, and you're like, what? It's only $2? Oh man, you know, whatever, right? You guys got to think like, these, like, the local guys are not doing these things, not for them. And you're going out of your way to do these things. They have nothing to offer you but what's in between their legs. And I get it. Some of you guys, you know, want to monger, do pay for play. That's cool. That's cool. You know, but do it properly, man. Do it properly. You know, why don't you just go to a brothel or something like that?
But like guys don't realize, Kings, that there is real online pay for play too here in Colombia. There's like top notch women in Colombia that you actually meet online, and these are the best of the best of pay for play. Not the street chicks that y'all be getting in Cartagena or Medellin. I'm talking about the best of the best beauties, and they're all online. They ain't in the best of the best beauties in Colombia. They ain't on online. They're the ones that are reserved for the guys that want to spend real money,
right?
Not you cheap brothers that want to go on the street and get God. So if I was in that world for real, like I said in the past, like Kings just said, brothels Or if you're gonna do individual situation where she comes over, go ahead, put it in your budget that you're going to pay for the best of the best. Like Kings just said, quality over the quantity of trash that's in the streets. Street girls in the States are street girls for a reason. And escorts, who are the professional ladies, they cost the way they cost for a reason. It's the same thing here in Colombia and all over South America. You can get a street trash anywhere, but whether you go to a brothel or whether you pay for a very professional woman, that's completely different. You never see these women. The ones that's actually online, you will never see those women in the streets. Those women are on a totally different level than the street trash that you guys pick up. It really is.
Yep. Absolutely, man. Absolutely. We're gonna finish this video, and then we're gonna give our final thoughts.
Okay. Wow. Hey. So either she spat your drink or the bartender, but I'm happy that you are here today, brother, and nothing fatal happened to you. It's sad to see you get robbed and lose your belongings, and obviously, when you're abroad, that can be disastrous. If you lose your phone, your wallet, you're thinking, "Oh, what do I do?" So I'm happy that it worked out, bro. Your keys, they left your keys to the Airbnb in your pocket. They didn't take it.
yeah. They So fortunately, they didn't know the code. To get it, there's a code that you put your hand on the door, and you have to know the code to get into the place, and then you have to go upstairs and know which door that I stay in. So they just left the key in my wallet, and thank God I didn't leave my passport. I didn't take my passport with me either, because I would have probably still been stuck over there.
Okay, awesome, bro, fantastic. So, Mr. Don, thank you very much for breaking down your experience in Colombia. So, brother, this is very important for you, brothers, to take note of. Always be aware abroad. Be careful with the woman you deal with. Be vigilant and be aware of your surroundings. I'm International Passport. Make sure you join that Patreon.
All right. Yeah. Man, this guy is really lucky, man, because I don't know what he had in his Airbnb, but I mean, we all know once they get inside the Airbnb, laptops gone, cameras gone, everything gone. So I'm sure he's gonna get reimbursed from his bank as far as with the with the money being taken out and the credit card and stuff like that. I mean, he's lucky that it was not worse, man. I mean, they could have really ransacked him, and you also got to think, when with some of these, with these girls that's doing it, these girls aren't pharmacists, so they don't know what dose to put and what dose not to put. So they're guesstimating, and some guys don't make it. Some guys don't make it. So, I mean, be thankful for that. This is no joke, man. This is no joke. You got to think, man, I got to say, man, is busting it up worth your life, dog? Is that worth your life? If it is, then go ahead, man, put it at risk. But, yo, man, I can't be associated with that.
Absolutely.
I cannot be associated with that, man.
Well, my closing remarks have been going on basically the last hour and a half. And so, just like you said, you want guys to come safely to these countries, no matter where they are. But we also want guys to leave and go back home safely, and that's the most important part. If you plan on relocating to another country, make sure that you understand the policies and the laws regarding the visas, the property ownership, like we're talking about ownership of land or housing. Make sure you understand that do not purchase something in the name, under the name or umbrella of someone else. In other words, you got a wife there or a girlfriend there in a certain country and you can't buy it because you're not a citizen, then don't buy it. If you want to buy a car in another country and you can't get it in your name, don't buy it until you can get it in your name. You want to buy property, in other words, wait. The key thing in all of this, guys, in all the discussion that we had is you got to be patient and patient with yourself with the sense of when you meet people, especially the women, if this is not a woman that you can find yourself being patient with, you're wasting your time. I kid you not. And some of you guys will continue to call me and Kings and the rest of us crazy. And you continue to tell us that we don't know what we're talking about. But we sit back and we watch your stories continue to unfold unsuccessfully. And so I hope some guys picked up from this live stream all that we were trying to share, because I kid you not, I'm at that breaking point where I may not talk about this topic again for a while, because I'm done with really trying to encourage dudes in regards to the right direction. After 4 years and over 1,000 videos, it's tiring, and I'm really, really as tired as those women are, because you guys lie to yourself just as much as women lie to themselves about looking for a good man. You guys lie to yourself when you come to these other countries and try to treat all of them like they're made of diamonds, and they're not. They're just regular women. That's all I have to say.
Absolutely, brother. Absolutely, man. Thank you for rocking out with me for almost 4 hours, man. Thank you for rocking out with me, man. For
almost 4 hours. You know how we do.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, man. I mean, where do I begin? Well, first of all, I hope that those of you who watch or will watch in the future will learn something. Pass on this information. Even if you're someone that is not traveling outside of the country, you can still take this information and still utilize it, because things happen in the States too. So, but utilize this information, man. Pass this information along to your fellow man, and just and realize that the most important thing that you have to bring in this country is yourself. But you got to make sure that you are prepared, more than prepared, to travel, navigate, and be able to cultivate the right relationships in these countries. You got to know how to move. Just because you have, a few dollars in your pocket and a passport doesn't necessarily mean that you are prepared to actually travel to these places. You got to make sure that you're taking care of your mind. And and also quality over quantity. That is extremely important. Extremely important, right? And when you value quality over quantity, so many things will change in your life. I'm telling you. I am telling you, man. I talked about how I had a low credit score. I talked about how I wanted to run through all of these chicks. The things that I talk about, now the reason why I'm able to talk about these things with tact and educational wise is because I lived through it. These are mistakes that I made in my life, and I was able to correct these mistakes. These mistakes that we're making, domestic or abroad, these mistakes are correctable, but you have to be willing to listen, and you have to be willing to put in the work to make the corrections. Because if you're not able to make the corrections, what's the definition of insanity? Doing the same thing over and over and over again. Guys, for the umpteenth time, stay off Tinder. Stay the F off Tinder. Don't do it. Don't do it, man. Just meet a girl organically. try to get cool with the locals. You know, hit Dre up for consultations. He knows Cali thoroughly. I know Medellin thoroughly. Los is out in Cartagena now. He's lived in Bogota. I mean, you have resources. I'm telling you guys, you want to cut corners so bad and think that this won't happen to you. You want to be so invincible until your life is invisible. Let that marinate, man. I say what I mean, and I mean what I say, man. I appreciate you all for watching. Stay purposeful. Make sure you check out my boy Andre Love Crossing Borders, Drake in Head on Friday, man.
Oh yeah.
Can't wait for that one. Can't wait for that one, man. Hey Jay, I did drop the link, man, but it's getting late over here, man. So but one more thing, guys. So tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I will be live speaking with Austin Holloman about his journey throughout the continent of Africa, man. So you see him right there, me speaking to him in my background, man. So he will be on live tomorrow evening at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Definitely make sure you guys tune in. I appreciate y'all. Salute. Have a great night. All right.